to Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode 144. See, nice and quiet. Listen, see?
But you figured by now it would be a smooth intro. 144, and we still stumble over it. It's never just flawless. Someone's about to come through Dave's roof.
Yeah, sorry. We have a little bit of construction going on here. There's all kinds of drama. Well, not really construction, but whatever. It sounds like construction. It's just cleaning. But anyway, what are you gonna do? 144. We have a very special guest here. I wanted to bring her on here for a long time. Honestly, the idea started. We had the Women in Horror Month, and we were like, okay, we got to do this. Actually, back to the Women in Horror thing. We were going to do something completely different this year as a gag, and it didn't work out. So maybe we do it next year. So we were kind of scrambling at the end, and we only had 2 weeks to work with. So we said, okay, we got to do this. We had these people last year. These are our friends. We have these people, blah, 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 blah. Now, the month comes and goes, and I'm like, well, we have other people that we're friends with that are listeners of the show that have podcasts that haven't been on here. So we have to make it a point to get them on here because, what the hell? We got to do this shit. They should be guest starring. Anyway.
Let's be honest. Brandon had to remind us that we're allowed to have women on the show when it's not Women in Horror Month. And we're like, who? Well, what a novel idea. Like, who would have thought?
This all started when I invited Heather to be on, and Dave's like, oh man, now I got to invite every female ever to be on the show. I'm like, and we got to squeeze them all into this month. I'm like, Dave, women can podcast outside Women in Horror Month. What's the gag for next year? Is it She-Males in Sci-Fi Week?
It's going to be the same thing we tried to do this year, but maybe we'll try to do it next year. Maybe have enough time to prepare. If we can get our counterparts to come on at the time when we record, we can do it. But if not, because that's what happened. I thought we were just going to abandon the whole thing and do regular shows because our other plan didn't work. So to say, okay, this year we won't do it. Next year we'll double up. We'll do something. And then all of a sudden said, oh, yeah, Heather said she'll be okay to go at 9. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I go, so we're going to do that still. I go, I thought, and that's when we started scrambling. And that's why he said that. I'm like, well, now we only have 2 weeks to deal with. I didn't know. So.
Well, I think I read that Women in Horror Month is no longer Women in Horror Month. It's Women in Horror Movement. So now you're required to have women on all the time.
All right, then. The movement is here.
Well, technically we have 3 because Frankie and Irene, you could hear them louder than you can hear Christian right now.
Which is unique.
Oh, my
Because I'm the loud one on the show. Actually, no, I don't know. Sometimes you'll hear Brandon talk back.
Don't talk back.
I don't know if you're used to all the jokes of the show yet, but yeah.
She knows.
It's questionable sometimes.
Brandon's little random comments here and there get me cracking up.
Uh-oh, a bee fan. Watch out.
There we go. We got a lot of those.
Yep. So anyway, this is Holly from Beyond the Screams podcast. She's again, I wanted to have her here for a while. I listened to all the shows. I even listened to the original, the Horror Melee, and they did that for a couple years. And then they took a little bit of time off, not much, like a couple months, and they rebranded and they came back with Beyond the Screams. And I got to tell you, I love the stuff you guys do on the show. It's very unconventional with the with your topics for the month. And I'm telling you, no other podcast has this type of format. When they were doing the other show, they were just coming on. They were each bringing a movie to the table, one movie a week, just doing review stuff, doing what they do. And then when they came around the second time around, they started doing this stuff. And they have 4 shows a month usually. And what I think is cool about it is that they do different things. They have like an episode that's pertaining to a topic, and there's like a story on one episode, and then they have like these virtual events sometimes and stuff. But I mean, she'd be better at really explaining it than I can. But I think it's really cool.
We'll continue. No,
I'm no good at that.
More about me.
I just wanted to put the show over in her because she is. She does lots of cool stuff. She's a really interesting person with a really great artist, drawing and stuff. And there's some acting, and there's the Rocky Horror. So you know, and the videos that you do are perfect because they're in and out and boom, 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 10 minutes. I mean, I try to do a video on YouTube and I'm talking about a movie and it's fucking 45 minutes. I'm like, why can't I just do it like she does? You know?
Longer
So
than
anyway,
the movie. Better off
We all
watching the
say the
movie.
exact same thing on our end.
Actually, no, we don't
Does it
even
take
watch the
away-
videos.
Yeah, that's not true. Look at D.
Aw,
He's
Dave.
crying over there.
Dave, I'm just.
No.
Does it take away from the introduction when you hear vacuuming in the background? Like, have you ever been on a show before where they're introducing you, talking all this great stuff about you, but you're
It sounds like a horde of
above.
bees. It's very, atmospheric.
Yeah.
Oh, it can't go
Sleepaway
on
Camp.
forever. Sleepaway Camp. Anyway,
Brandon's
it
the
can't go
cook.
on.
Yeah,
I'm the horde of
beyond
bees.
the
Sorry.
beyond the screams came, it was just like a happy accident because we had horror melee and then there was somebody else that was kind of working behind the scenes, somebody that we had all been friends with, and just differences happened, kind of split ways, and decided to, all right, let's start on our own and just redo the whole thing. And coming up with a topic for each month, it made it a lot easier to structure things. And then, we wanted to stand out a little. So then we do a movie review. Maybe we'll do like an indie or a short or something, all pertaining to the theme, a story that somebody could submit, and then a deep dive into the themes of the month.
It's really
Can
cool.
we say that we should get the brand of microphone that you're wearing and put it into the comment, because every podcaster should be using your microphone.
Oh, really?
You should send it to, yeah.
It's a Yeti. I really like it.
Yeah.
See?
I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. You sound so clean and clear. And this is what we've had to listen to for 144 episodes of Brandon's microphone.
No, that's Dave playing with his Punch and Judy box show there.
I was trying to see what
Look
kind
at
of
his
mic I had.
Look how a real podcaster operates, Dave. Just a microphone. He's got a whole cat box. The cat was like permanent in it last
Yeah,
episode.
It's actually a litter box with a blanket over it. Lucky's
You know
taking
what?
his shit in there right
Yeah,
now.
is Lucky in there?
Yeah.
Hey, look, get out of there. It stinks.
Every now and then he's gonna fish out Dookie. It's just a horrible part of the show. We edit that part out.
Hold on. There's a reason for this microphone, this situation, because the place we used to record in was the room over there, but it was too echoey. But there's like these grip things that you put, it's like a little thing that you slide in and you screw it in, and then the handle comes up and the mic comes downward, right? Well, the thing I had in there, it was too thick. I couldn't put the thing on there, so I could never do it. Now, though, I have this table in front of me, so it is possible that I could go back and try to find that equipment and have it, and then have the mic right in my face like this, like it's supposed to be. Because otherwise, I got to lean in like this anytime I'm trying to talk. And what are you going to do?
That
Does this
sounds
sound-
much sexier, actually.
That's-
It sounds much better. You're like,
And it would look even better if you could get your head inside the box.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes I lay like this. So this is how I can. I'm not just trying to be Mr. Casual here, but now I sound better. You
In
know what I mean?
144 shows,
No,
I've
no
never
question.
seen you lay like that. Never.
Yeah,
Christian,
ever.
have you ever seen his
Yeah,
head that close to
never.
the box? Never.
ever. And this,
I like it on
feel
the
such
screen.
a-
It's just like Dave's little head at the
Yeah,
bottom.
you're so low. What are you doing? You've never been
Holly,
this low either.
I feel bad. I derailed. Like, we just introduced Holly, and then like we're talking about her show, and then I had to make a bad joke about it. So like, forgive me because it's
No, this
unconventional,
is-
kind of like a show.
Yeah,
Forget
this
about
is why I enjoy your show.
Going off
Go
topic.
off on tangents.
Well, let me
So
say
like
before,
the last episode
I'm
that dropped was what Dave said. Sorry, Dave, was just like a reading of a story.
Yeah, so
But-
that was I think that was me reading that story because we were doing a month of death and grief, and so I got a book of Native American myths and legends for my birthday, and so I found one that was about the afterlife.
Awesome. And it's a great story. Actually, it was so cool. I don't know if you know that we're starting a new episode. We're doing 4 episodes a month now, and one episode's always going to be a story. It's going to be we're going to be exclusive to Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast. It's going to be like
My mother was Native American, so I'm gonna read from her writings that she left behind.
Her diary.
Her diary. Yeah.
So don't be offended if you start hearing that soon on the show.
Gee, they're groundbreaking over there.
Go ahead, Dave. Say it. Never before in the history of podcasting have 4 women podcasted together.
Well, now it's 5. Now it's 5.
That was funny though. When you said
They already went up to. Yeah.
Never before have 5 women been in the same room before.
They got 5. Is it 5? Yeah, they got 5. And they left the network.
And they left the network. Yes, I heard that. Yeah, they're now they're independent, correct?
No, they joined Horrorphilia.
They got it to start back up.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's okay, because I'll tell you. I mean, and Beyond the Screams, you guys are on that network, and it's a very busy network. I mean, I don't think that Phil anticipated. I know when Horrorphilia was folding, he was like, okay, everybody wants to come in and join. I don't think he anticipated quite that many shows to jump over at once, and for new shows coming in to join the network. And I think, again, I can't speak for this because I can't do anything in that department, but I think it's probably been a bit overwhelming for Phil and what they got going over there, because I know when I listen to maybe half a dozen shows on that network, and sometimes I go on and there's issues and I go to play and it won't play. I think there's just a little bit of a learning curve here, and maybe it's better off that a couple shows do leave and leave it to a smaller, because Horrorphilia in its early days, when they had like 10 shows, everything was running like a top, and then more came on and Jason had to start, Well, we broke it. Remember, we broke the network that when we came in. We came in at 22 shots at the same time, and there was all kinds of action going on there, and I don't know.
Never before has the network been broken in the history of Horrorphilia. Until
6.75.
Hey.
No reviewer has ever given the movie a 6.75. It's a Daisy first. There's so many firsts on this show.
5 out of 8.
Yeah, hit her own. Yeah. It's because we don't do any research.
8 out of 5.
It's great. When
8 out of 5. I knew 5 out of 8 sounded too normal.
8 out of 5, I would say. Instead of 8.5, that's 8 out of 5, I would say. Anyway, oh boy. So, but that's, I listen to every podcast. I always say it. I try to listen to every podcast and give them a listen and, decide what I'm going to listen and what I'm not going to. But that's the one thing about your show is that no one else is doing that I really like. And when I find someone doing something original, it's really impressive. It doesn't happen that much. And shows like that deserve more listeners. They need to get more stuff out there, and it's hard to do. It's hard to break out.
I agree. Yes.
Of course, you should.
Playing the social media game is hard. Just like, waiting to like find that like magic tag or something that's like gonna be shareable to like, it's just a roll of the dice, and it can be frustrating. But then
it's because you're dealing with people.
Yeah, exactly. But then I'm like, do I want more people listening? Because then I have to like interact with them.
But it's true. It's true. It's that like you want to be you're doing the show, and first you are doing it for us. Like Brandon always used to say, I don't care if no one's listening. It's fun to do the show. But eventually you're like, well, no, you want to find common ground, because then you get that community growing, and they share ideas, and then you can like mock each other in a joking way. Like you play off of it. Like someone loves a movie, someone hates it, and it's fun. But when it's a huge group of people, it becomes overwhelming. And a lot of times, a lot of people aren't funny, but they think they're funny. And then it creates a lot of like really unnecessary drama within groups because they post something, or they think they're being witty and they're not being witty at all. And it just is a downward spiral. So when you have a core group of people, it's so much easier to interact and want to interact.
A lot of self-discovery going on right there, care. Huh?
Yeah, COVID. I blame COVID.
Well, Dave mentioned Dave mentioned I do Rocky Horror, and it's kind of the same thing too. Like we used to, because there's Shadowcast across the nation. So our cast used to be more involved with the national community, and just so much drama. And now I feel like we're our own little island in Chicago, where it's like we know people here and there, but we just stay out of everything else that's going on, and we just chill with the people that we know and that get us, and it's much better that way.
I do Cannibal Holocaust nationally. I play this guy. No speaking parts.
Is that with Lexington Steel?
It's hard with Junior.
Center stage.
Yeah, it's hard with Junior jammed down your throat coming out you.
Oh boy. Don't start on
that. Don't start on that.
I'm not
coming. Got vacuumed up this
please
morning.
Stop. Go on.
I can't. I'm not at that point yet. I can't talk about Junior in front of Holly. It's.
I'm not there yet.
Jamie and Heather.
I've watched you talk about it.
That's true. You've watched it, but now you're in the same right here.
This is live.
It's different, right? See, I am a sweet guy. I come off this way, but at the end of the day, there is that little Dave Z kid is always there still, a little bit shy and withdrawn. I'm not as I come off a little bit. I don't know. Maybe arrogant, maybe like braggadocious, or but I'm really not. Dickish. Well,
babies.
It's only done so far, though. See, that's the thing. There's a difference, and most women will tell you this, I believe. There's a difference between being confident and cocky, and I don't think I'm cocky, because then it's too much. You know what I mean? Because then it's a turnoff to a lot of people.
I can see the wheels turning in Brandon. Right now. You can see it. It's like his face like lights up.
I can't even make
was
a
thinking
joke.
the exact same thing. Yeah, I know.
Too much going on.
I'm like, come on, Brandon. Like, I'm about to explode, knowing that I've got one, but his is going to be better. So I'll let him do it.
No, I got nothing. I'm just like.
Now you can't do it. It's too late now. But I could just see it. You could just see it like, it's awesome. The light bulb moment, for sure.
So now Chicago. Yeah. When you're doing this in Chicago, are you like in the heart of Chicago, like downtown Chicago? It's like this big area, or are you like, is it more of a suburb? Are you like Jeremy, or are you like right in there?
No, I'm in there. I'm literally, it's the nickname for my neighborhood is Heart of Chicago.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah. So I'm there. I grew up in a suburb like 10 minutes outside of the city, but we're in the city now.
Amazing, man! You guys get everything there. You got
it's awesome.
Oh, I know, right? You got everything. You got everything comes to the area. You get it's almost like being in LA or New York City, right? You got, oh man, what a dream.
Yeah, they do a lot of filming there too. So I mean that can be annoying. Like on my street, it's like, oh, you can't park here for 3 days. Cool.
Oh man.
Great.
Yeah, that sucks. Now, when you perform, when you do the Rocky Horror thing, first of all, when you do it, what type of place is it, and what role do you play?
It's the Music Box Theater. Music Box Productions, Music Box Films. Yeah. They own that theater, and when was it built? Like 1920s. So it's an old theater. It's gorgeous. That cast has been there since maybe like 2003 or so, and Music Box Theater has the exclusive rights to show Rocky Horror in the city. So no other like big theater can show the movie. It's theirs. And yeah, that was awesome. I first saw it when I was in high school, and then I was just kind of like, oh my God, how do I get to do this? This is so cool. And then I connected with friends like years later, and she was just like, bring in an application. We need people. So here you go. And my primary role is Janet, but I also like to do Rocky.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Brayden, isn't your favorite one of your favorite movies the sequel to that? Or the pseudo sequel? What's
was it Shockwaves or something?
Hedwig.
Shock Treatment.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Hedwig. Hedwig and the Angry Inch is my favorite.
Yeah, Shock Treatment.
Yeah. I did a Shadowcast of that one year too.
Nice. That's my all-time favorite.
I got to see that movie. I don't know anything about it.
Have you ever done it live though, Brandon? Maybe you should do it live one time.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm not a performer. I'm barely a podcaster.
That's the next episode. Just you, just solo.
Yeah, doing it all.
Yeah.
From opening.
Wait. Have you heard him solo before? It's like you did a bunch of coke.
Oh yeah.
Through the show, like, and you didn't stop doing the coke. You're just like,
I'm basically a coked out.
some of my favorite movies.
I'm basically from the collection. I'm from the collection.
I swear he did it on purpose. It's like when you get married or something like that and you decide to fuck up ironing for the first time so that you never have to do it again. I think he fucked up editing so that I wouldn't say, hey, you're good at this. Keep doing it. But he tried.
Evil genius.
I give it to him.
Yes.
He tried. And he just edited too much. So I think you should try again, Brandon. I think this is my invite to you to take on the task of editing one more time.
All right, I got it. I'll edit this show. I'm editing you right out. Actually, I'm editing that shirt off of you. You're gonna be top. You're gonna be top.
Everybody wins.
You're gonna be topless in the video.
Perfect.
Propping it out.
You mean like a six pack?
We could take a month off again and do that. We could each do a solo episode and take a month. We haven't taken a month off since we went to Patreon. So we could do it and we can still put out material. Everybody does a solo show again.
Dave, Christian and I are looking to take 12 months off every year. Like
solo casts are hard, man. Like solo casts are crazy. Because you tend to go. I mean, I tend to try to overproduce it. Now, some people might say, "Oh, that's good. You want your shows to sound good." There's sounding good, and then there's overproducing the thing until it just there's at some point it's a podcast. You release it. It's not like an album. It's one show. You got to put it out there. But I'll take the time. Like I was editing and putting sound effects and putting music, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like
this is why we'll never be tier 4, according to Dave, because of this attitude, Christian. We'll always be tier 5 because of your attitude right now.
No, but there's that happy medium because you know your group, the people that listen to you. Everybody likes good production. Like no one's going to say, "Oh, I'd rather the show sound like shit." Everybody's going to be like, "No, I want the show to sound great." Excuse me. But ultimately, you got to find that balance of where this is what the show is. And if we suddenly started putting Watson production into this, people would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Look, we tried putting Watson in it, and people were like, what the fuck are you doing?
I just want the soundboard. I just want that damn soundboard. I think I'd be good at that. To getting drops from the show, from previous episodes and this and then everything else that Jeremy used on one episode of 22 Shots. They wouldn't let him do it again because he went overboard. Yeah, remember? But I want one right here, and I could press the buttons throughout the show. I think it'd be great, but I don't know how to get one of those things.
We're also our own soundboard. I think we do that anyway. And pretty much, we always go top notch. It's a one-take fucker. Like Holly, want to add anything? Like
no, I would just get too button happy if I had one. It'd be every single second, just pew pew pew.
Yeah. But here's the problem. I think I would too, but by the time I found the button and was ready to press it, the opportunity passed 30 seconds ago. You know what I mean? Like you said, button happy. I'm like, oh yeah, button. Where's that Willy Wonka scheme? Button. Who's got the button? You know what I mean? And by the time I find it and press it, we're on to something else.
5 jokes later.
Right. That's just it. Yeah. I have all these ideas in my head about samples. I listen to all this hip hop and stuff, and I've been saying it for years. I'll watch a movie or I'll even have a discussion. I'm nuts. Like I can have a discussion with somebody, and I might say something, or they might say something, and when it's said, something else goes off in my head, and it's a line, it's a drop, it's from a movie, or it's something. Like you can say anything to me, and I could kick back a song lyric or a line from a movie that would relate directly to it. And I see it as like this art form that's untapped. Like when you listen to hip hop, you get a drop in a certain during a song. And I listen to stuff and I watch this. I'm like, man, that would be a great sample to put here. And I always get that idea, but it's like, I don't know if it's a talent, but it's like a waste of my brain energy or something. Because
sounds like a real waste.
And our listeners' time, evidently, too.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but when your mind's constantly going, blah, 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 it's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
It's like a Rolodex. It's just like something just like pops, and it's like, oh, this fits.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Rolodex are shit. Like just, but I get it. I have that exact same Rolodex. Excrement.
Yeah.
We won't get into it. We've had 2 shows full of that. We gotta be we gotta be excrement free this show.
No mud.
It-
I
This will not
learned a
be-
lot about you guys.
Uh-oh. I
I
don't
learned
even
way,
want- don't
I
even-
learned way too much.
We have there are some questions we've got to ask. The obvious, not about that, because it was a
Oh,
weird
no.
kind of segue into that. Yeah, do you
This
ever
will
use
not
a
be a
roll of
shit
toilet
show.
paper? No, that's not the question. That's going to be a new one though that we've
I'm
got to.
sorry, Dave.
And everybody,
No.
I guarantee
No.
everybody's going to be like, no.
I'm not even going to get into it.
Christian's become a
Again.
ventriloquist. His voice is talking when he's not now. I don't even know what's going on. It's freaking me out.
Ooh.
I don't know. There's been a lag lately on my end. Lag. But no, we've got to ask a question, Holly.
Here he
Rocky
goes.
4 or Nightmare on Elm Street 2? Are you a Rocky fan at all?
I've not big, but I would go
Cutter Mike.
Nightmare.
Yes.
Nightmare.
Yes, I knew she would go
Cut the
Nightmare.
feed. Cut the feed.
I was anticipating and I forgot to ask her. And I knew if it did come up, she'd go Nightmare. I just knew it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I enjoy the Rocky films. I will watch them, but replay value, Nightmare.
Nightmare 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Somebody put this thing up on Twitter a couple of days ago, and it said Rocky 2 or Rocky 4. And it was pretty much down the middle. But the more I heard people talk about Rocky 4 that didn't like it, the more I thought they were making good points. They were, you know what somebody brought up? They said there's no Bill Conti score in it. There's none of the music from Rocky 1, 2, and 3, the score, that epic stuff is in Rocky 4. One more reason. And there's someone, and again, this isn't me. I just waited and I said what I said. I said something about Rocky 2 is a better film. It has drama, this and that. It has all this stuff where I consider Rocky 4 a fun popcorn flip with a bunch of montages. You know what I mean? And I wasn't knocking. I'm just saying 2 is the better movie. But I was seeing other people weigh in. They had the same feelings I had. They were talking about it's one big montage. It's this, it's that. So I was like, I'm not the only one. Again, I'm not knocking it. I enjoy it.
No,
I
I
think
love
part
Rocky
2
2
is
as well.
Part 2 is the better film, but part 4 is still my favorite.
It's so,
That's-
so epically
Yeah.
cheese and everything
Yeah.
about it. It's just to the, like, again, it's that Crank to 11. Spinal Tap is what I was going for. Spinal Tap, Crank to 11 sort of thought process when it comes to Rocky 4. It's just everything like cranked up. They give you just a taste of drama, but he scales it back. He edits it right down.
Wait,
So you
I didn't
just
hear
get
that.
the
A taste of what?
drama. Did I?
Oh, okay.
I want to just.
I was getting tired for a
Can
sec
I-
because
can
you
you-
were like drama. I was like,
I say that.
Dramamine.
I say that at home too, and I'm just gonna fucking destroy you.
All right, forget Rocky 2, or, Nightmare 2, or Rocky 4. Phil Fondacaro or Warwick Davis. Just making a little small talk. Sorry. Sorry.
Wow, wowzers, wow.
I didn't know who that was, Phil Fondacaro. I didn't know where you were going.
Wowzer.
Small talk. Just,
Yeah.
I,
Where
had,
was
I, had,
Bravo.
I had to set up the joke, Dave.
I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody's name.
I had to look up his name. I couldn't remember his name. I knew it was Phil something. I had to look it up. I'm like,
Oh,
this joke will
I
not
don't know.
work
I
if
would have said Hervé Villachez. That's what I would have said. You know
That's
who?
awesome.
Who? Oh, Hervé. Yeah, from.
Yeah, tattoo. The plane. The
Yeah,
plane. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever see Airplane 2?
Yes.
And not the second one.
It's
Oh,
not
it's
nowhere near as good.
There's this one scene and they're on the plane bugging out, and one flight attendant says to the other, she goes, I sure could use a little breather. And then they turn, and then Hervé Villachez is there breathing. I love that movie.
When I was a kid, it just goes to show you that I never really 100% paid attention. I always thought that was called Airplane 2, The Squeal.
Wait, oh, ee.
That's Deliverance 2.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. He's on his A game today, Holly. He came on a good show. Those
Yeah.
are 2 great jokes in a row. Oh, my God, I'm dying. I need a breather.
A little breather. Yeah, where is he? Where's Hervé?
Shit.
Poor
What
guy.
is your favorite? What would you say is your favorite series of all the major franchises? What would you say your favorite is?
I go back and forth on this a lot, but Halloween.
And what do you go back and forth on?
Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street.
A Nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Halloween, I think it's because I grew up watching them a lot more too, so there's a lot of nostalgia in there. Because when I was little, there was like a small mom and pop video store that, I was 10 years old and able to walk to by myself, and not have the cops called on me. And the people there, they were really cool, and they're like, oh yeah, you want to rent these R-rated horror movies? That's fine. So I watched a lot of cool stuff, and well, a lot of crappy 90s movies too. Like I watched The Dentist a lot. There was a movie called Daddy's Girl, and it was just they were always there, so I would just rent over and over. So I would watch Halloween 4 and 5 a lot too.
Yeah, I'm Halloween 5. Forgive this. I think I could see some good qualities within that film, considering a lot of people have it at the bottom of the heap. But I do like it. Brandon, of course, is a huge Halloween fan. Do you find that there's too many pumpkins on the porch in Halloween 2018, or is it just enough?
No, I want my house needs to be like that little girl from Trick or Treat. Just everywhere, everywhere.
Like any respected horror fan, that's what you would want to see.
I don't know why. I had the mom and pop stores too. I loved going to them, but for some reason, I never rented Halloween as a kid. I don't know why. I grew up on Nightmare and Friday. I've said this a million times.
Because you hate pumpkins.
No, I don't remember the first time I saw Halloween. I don't remember the first time. I remember the first time I saw Halloween 3 because I was like, what did I just watch? Is this a joke? Where's the guy from the other Halloweens?
Indeed.
Yeah.
That was last week. But no, I'm sorry. I'm not getting into it with the pumpkins.
Okay, let me ask you about this. I'm going to ask you a serious question. If this October, one day you woke up in the morning, you came downstairs, you're getting ready to leave, whatever, you're getting ready to leave your place, and somebody out of the goodness of their heart, maybe listeners of the podcast that were close to you, got together and you had 30 pumpkins and they were cut, they looked beautiful. I mean, just so well done, lit. What would your reaction be?
I would be very grateful as I smash each and every single one of them to pieces. No, don't get me wrong. I love the look. But it felt like by the time it got to that part, it was just like, why can't you establish a feel to this film that feels Halloween? It just felt forced. That's the only reason why I complain about that.
Oh.
Not because there's a million pumpkins. Of course it looks beautiful. And I love Trick or Treat.
Okay. So there's no limit to pumpkins. Like in your home, you're not going to say, well, 3's the limit. I don't want 10 pumpkins on my porch.
There's no pumpkin limit.
Oh, there's not. Oh,
there's not a pumpkin limit.
Oh, we're learning more and more about you today.
4.5 max. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. Man.
Unfortunately,
and
that's about it. 4.5.
Yeah, I knew exactly where you're going. I knew. Bingo, bango. That was hilarious. I just see it now. If I'm just looking at him and not trying to crack wise myself, it's beautiful. This is where the vision is important. You can just see him yeah. And the last question: Nightmare on Film Street, Nightmare on Fear Street, or Nightmare on 5th Street? I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that one.
Fierce. It's called Fierce, not Fear, by the way.
Oh, Fear? Whatever. Who gives a...
Well,
Fear or Fierce?
Fierce. Fierce Street. You guys both said Fear.
Fear Street is better.
Fear Street is better than Fierce.
Fear. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about Fear Street. Guess what happened now?
They're so fierce.
No, listen, lucky bastards. They were on the Bloody Disgusting podcast. They got to hang out with the Bloody Disgusting crew, which I know that my friend is on there, Xena, the real queen of horror.
The Warrior Princess?
Who's the Xena, the Warrior Princess? Yeah.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Sparbo, whatever, Spargo, what is that? Hercules.
Spago. Yeah, Spago.
Terrible.
The hell is this guy
anyway,
talking about?
The Bloody Disgusting podcast is obviously on the Bloody Disgusting network, okay? Which is the biggest network there could be for. So listen to what happened. Because of what went down, and because Nightmare on Fierce wrote that article that got the Film Street, taken off the network, the hosts of that show, were invited on the Bloody Disgusting podcast for an episode. So now they get all this publicity, all because somebody talks shit about them. So I hope. I want somebody to talk shit about me. I want somebody that's a higher up on Bloody Disgusting or anyone. They can say whatever they want to me. They could message me and say, all Italians are scumbags. They could say,
Jeez.
white men that are married to black women are race traitors. They could say mulatto children are the devil's spawn. They could say whatever the fuck they want. Whatever they say, I want somebody to offend me, so I can be put in a position like that. I'm willing to let that happen.
I didn't hear anything offensive just now, did you?
Well, it wouldn't offend me. I can't be offended. That's the difference.
You know what? I'll anonymously write to the Bloody Disgusting crew and tell them about your toilet paper roll situation, about your mud flaps, and trust me, they will shame you for that.
Yeah.
Because you can marry 50 black women and have 50 mixed children, and nothing's going to be as disturbing as that. Or as offensive.
They could say, they talk about fecal matter on their show. You guys are disgusting. But then I could use that Bloody Disgusting. I go, they call me disgusting. You're on the Bloody Disgusting. I don't know.
How about a spoof on Family Matters called Fecal Matters, and it's just Urkel shitting himself going, did I do that? And it's just called Fecal Matters.
It could be a segment of the movie.
Okay, yeah.
It's so funny. Jason Smith texted me, and I think this is hilarious. He's like, why does Dave get mad at movies with the silliest shit, yet every idea he has for your movie is the stupidest, silliest shit?
Hold up, because I said that stupid shit sells. I don't like it, but I know that other people like it. I've been saying that when I go, that's why I said release the Wawas. How fucking ridiculous. I don't find it funny, but I know that if we put that on film, people will be quoting that like they quote Hunky Boy and that bullshit. People like that stupid shit, not me. I'm a marketer. I know how to market to people that like that stuff. I don't like that stuff. But the first movie is a jump off. We're just trying to make money. So we make some money with the first movie. Then the second movie, we could do what we want to do. Or maybe if we make enough profit. You know what I mean? So the first one is a foot in the door. Let's put out the...
He's already counting the box office from the first one.
I just want to make a good movie. That's all
Dave's
I'm saying.
Dave's a realist. He's playing the game.
Thank you. Exactly. You dip your toe, you get in there, and you get your foot in the door, right? And this is the stupid shit people like. I've come to realize that people like that dumb comedy that I happen to not like. Obviously, look at everyone loves Psycho Gorman but me. So it's like, okay, obviously this shit sells. Okay,
I didn't love it.
Yeah, you're right. You didn't. You're like me. So this stuff sells, and I've realized this about horror fans. So why not? And I always brag. Oh, it's so easy to do. I could write that. Well, this is gonna prove it. You know what I mean? We can make this movie. It's full of stupid, shitty skits that are in jokes. But it's like I think people would like that because people like stupid shit. So I still think it's stupid. But if I'm gonna make money off it, just like with Bloody Disgusting, you know what I mean? You can offend me. Nobody wants to be offended or have someone attack them. But if it's going to lead to my show being on Bloody Disgusting, offend me the fuck all you want. That's all I'm trying to say. I think about things from a different perspective, I guess. So there, Jason.
Sounds good. I'm going to shift. We don't have to stop. I'm just going to shift. So I'm going to be off camera and hopefully off microphone for about 2 minutes, and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Are we still recording or no?
Yeah, keep recording. Why not?
No,
Enough about me.
Recording on your end still.
Yeah. I'm still recording.
Oh, so the show is still going. So okay.
Yeah. Just keep talking.
That's great. You see him, he's muting himself. He's coming off of it. Oh. So Jason Smith, he did message me. I got a message from Jason Smith and from Chris, a.k.a. Scott, pertaining to, and this goes back to Halloween 4. Sasha. There is a male Sasha, and I know of him very well. Not very well, but I know 2 movies of his very well. and it completely slipped my mind. So, Holly, being a Halloween fan, do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
Okay, it's all right. It's again, I know when I'm watching the movie, when I see the opening credits, and then I don't think about it anymore. But his name, I'm gonna go right to it. I gotta go to these two messages that were sent to me. It's funny because first I got it from Chris. He sent it to me on whatever, May 17th. Sasha Jensen. He's an actor, a male. He played what's his name? I want to say Brady.
Oh.
Was it Brady? Yeah. Because
yeah.
Yep.
The boyfriend.
Yes, he was in
It was
Dazed
Brady.
and Confused. Yeah, and he was in Dazed and Confused, a movie that honestly I've seen Dazed and Confused so many times. I've probably seen it more than Halloween 4, and I've seen Halloween 4 a shit ton. But I saw Dazed and Confused 10 times in the theater when it played in its initial run. That's how many times I've seen that movie just right off the bat. My friends and I used to just freaking go and get high. Like, let's go watch Dazed, and then we would go watch it, and it was playing
Get
at like
blazed
$5.
and watch Dazed.
Exactly. Oh, man, those were the times, man. So, yeah, Sasha Jensen. So I've been proven wrong. There is a male Sasha.
Again.
We know.
And it's definitely not Sacha.
Yeah.
It's spelled S-A-S.
Oh, bless your heart for bringing that up.
Maybe I should look at it. Maybe it's spelled Sasha.
Sasha. We all fall down. What the fuck are you talking about, David? Sasha. Oh, man.
Okay, but hold on now. Just let's step back. Holly, have you ever known a male Sasha? Outside of Baron Cohen or whatever, and this guy that I just mentioned, in your personal life?
My personal life, no, but I feel like I have, before knowing Sacha Baron Cohen, I feel like I have heard that as a male name. I have personally not known any.
Okay. So that makes 4 of us right now. None of us have ever known a Sasha personally. Male. Okay. So that's why I made it's a common mistake. I never heard of it. Again, obviously I heard of this Sasha Jensen cat. I just,
He's a
it's
cat.
not all. Yeah, he's in this box.
So lucky.
Did you steal him too?
That's my next cat. Cat number 5 is gonna come in the door. I'm gonna name him Sasha if it's a guy.
Sasha.
Or Sacha. Excuse me. He's such an asshole.
No. Name him Sriracha.
Sriracha. You're right, sir. Right. It's gotta be done. Although, no more cats. I'm sorry. I love my cats. The 4th one is a part-timer, but it's been a long time. So, enough's enough. Why do you think they're upstairs vacuuming for an hour? It's cat related.
Is a cat stuck in the vacuum? they can't get it.
That's a sound. Goddamn cat.
That's really funny.
Well, it is a challenge with Lucky too because he's deaf. So any other animal, household pet, you bring a vacuum around him, they run away. Lucky, he'll sit right on the damn thing. He don't give a shit. He finds it fun. It's vibrating.
He has
you know what I
rides.
mean?
He wants rides across the house.
Yeah. It's a real challenge having a deaf animal. Sorry, it is. It's great, but I mean, it's things that you're used to with other animals. It doesn't resonate with him. It's just like, okay.
It's hard to sign without opposable thumbs for him, I heard. Too soon?
I was going to make it's funny. It's so bad that I was going to make a sign. I'm glad you cracked it first, got the reaction that you did. It just
that joke should have been for you though, since you sell the hearing aids.
Yeah. Oh man, and our brand is in one of the movies today, which was shocking. I just turned up, couldn't believe it. But we'll get to it because I don't want to jump to that.
That little thing, it looked like a string. I couldn't even, when it first happened in the movie, when they said you have a hearing aid, I thought that something had happened to her in the movie and somebody put it there and it was some type of thing to like measure something or like I don't know what. When I first saw it and the guy pointed out, or the girl pointed out, she goes, "Oh my God, you have a hearing aid. You're faulty," or whatever the hell she said when she was bugging out. Whatever she said.
You're faulty?
I don't know.
It was around those. Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't look, when I picture a hearing aid, I don't recall seeing a freaking big thing like a wire that's visible. Usually it's just something inside. Again, we'll get to that when we get to it. That's another movie. But when
I'll
it
have to
happened,
school you. Oh, great! This is where the real life comes into podcast life, and I get to. I will not talk about. Well, I probably will. Knowing me, I'll probably go on a tangent. Just cut me off when it comes
All
to.
right, stop.
I tell you. On a side note,
I love so much.
I can't stand. A side note, I can't stand when podcasts, when hosts happen to have like information about something because they deal with it in their real life and they watch the movie and they go, well, there's no way that would happen, so I don't like this movie. When they're talking, like for example, like you with a hearing aid. Let's say there was something involving hearing aids in a horror movie and they blew up, whatever the hell, and you were one of these guys that was going to come in and say, well, I work with a company that does this for hearing aids, and the way they're manufactured, that wouldn't happen. It couldn't. You know what I mean? You wouldn't do that watching a horror movie. But
you did it with people under the stairs when Spencer went in to read the meter. He's like, no, that meter would have been on the outside of the house. He never would have gone in the first place.
I said it as fun. I didn't critique the film for it.
I'm just teasing.
There's a difference.
I don't remember.
I didn't think he did it at all, but he said he did. I was just making a joke.
I don't actually think he did.
I like that you just accepted it though, Dave.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't mean it like that. I was just like, none of this ever happened. This was just.
I don't want to be a hypocrite. So I was like, well, hold on, maybe. I'm defensive. I'm so fucking defensive.
Hilarious.
Oh, I'm afraid of making anybody mad. That's what I've come to. But do you know what I'm talking about? People do podcasts and they're like, because so you're willing to excuse everything else, but just because you happen to deal in that particular situation in your life, you're going to critique the movie. Meanwhile, we know there's no way a machete cannot cut a head off. It would not go through the bone. I mean, maybe there are some machetes that it can, but people know this. You excuse it. Like in these collector movies, there's tons of things that as a fan of them, of these type of movies, I'm just going to excuse. There's other things I'm going to critique, yes, but I'm like, well, it's a movie. I'm not going to think too deep on it, but that's something that always gets me when people do that, just because they deal with it in like real life. Like, did you guys know that like, and this has been happening in movies for years, that my stepfather's a fireman, so he told me this, and I never knew this myself till 2 years ago. But do you know, and you see it in movies all the time, you cannot strike a match and throw it in the air and have it go in the air and land on gasoline and it starts a fire. That in real life that doesn't work, and we see it all the time in movies. He says that doesn't work. He goes, put gasoline on the floor, light a match, throw it in there, have it land. That doesn't happen. It can't ignite that way. Yet for years we've just accepted it. We don't know.
Really?
But yeah,
I would
sure. I think I've seen it happen in life.
I know he told me it can't happen. Why would he bullshit? He was the chief of the fire police. The fire police, I said. He was the chief.
Maybe he was a bad chief.
Hey,
chief of the fire.
Hey, fire! You're under arrest. Did you know that you can't handcuff fire?
How do you take it in for questioning?
Yeah. You're coming with me. Get in the back of the car. Don't burn the seats.
No smoking here.
Wow.
Just behind him with those torches like in Frankenstein and shit. All right, to lead him into the back of the car. Go.
Oh my Lord.
I'm telling you, he told me this, but even if I were the chief of the fire department and I was doing a movie review on a podcast, I wouldn't critique that. Say, oh wow, that would never happen. This is ridiculous. I can't even entertain that idea. But some people, you do hear it. Listen for it. People are on podcasts, hosts, and whatever their profession is, this and that. They'll nitpick stuff like that only because they have an inside track. But meanwhile, you can find probably every horror movie somebody from a different line of work that could come and say, you know what, that's really not possible. But why do that? You know, if you can accept any action movie, I mean, come on. There's nothing more far-fetched than action flicks, as far as I'm concerned. Of course.
Yeah.
You know
maybe just thought that maybe the match wouldn't stay lit the whole time as it traveled through the air.
Christian's gonna try it later and burn down his whole neighborhood.
No, because of course you put a flame to gasoline, it ignites, no question. So I'm just trying to figure out what the chief of the fire police was fucking talking about.
Fired the police.
Okay, next time I see him, I'll ask him directly. Maybe I messed it up, but I'm telling you, he told me that a couple years ago. That things they do in movies with Unless nobody
Maybe-
throws a lighter.
Maybe
fire.
he was
It has
saying
to be a match.
never throw a lit match at a pile of gasoline on the floor. Maybe that's all he was telling you. Don't. You'll burn down the whole fucking neighborhood.
He felt the need to tell me that. By the way,
I feel the need to tell you that now too. Actually, I think a lot of people will feel the need to tell you this.
I hope it's proven wrong that this is actually true that you could burn.
Again, I'm just relaying the message that the fire chief told me. What can I tell you? He said it doesn't work. He says you can't stop.
When I was at school, we watched a guy. Now he poured gasoline down the side of a street towards a car. We're like, what the fuck's happening? Because it's not like we're in a bad area or anything like that. We're like, why are we watching this and seeing this? We're calling the fire department. And he's lighting it, and then he lit a match and dropped it down, and it definitely went up in flames. Now that was putting match to gasoline. Now that's what I'm saying. Maybe he thinks that if you toss it, there's a better chance of it extinguishing, or when by the time it lands, it doesn't have enough flame to start it. But you put a fire together.
When Dave's stepfather showed up, did he try to convince you there was no fire, even though the whole place was burning? Like, nah, this didn't happen. There's no way.
There's no fire here.
Wait a minute,
sir. We're looking right at it.
I think I figured it out. I think there's a possibility I'm wrong here. I think what he told me was this. It was throwing a cigarette or ashing a fucking cigarette or a cigar, doing one of those to start a fire, gasoline on the floor, which you do see in movies. That doesn't work. I think that's what it was.
Or they flick a lit cigarette there.
Yes.
Because most likely it would be doused out instead of actually igniting. That's probably I can see legit.
I apologize.
Flame.
But if you throw
cigarette.
a whole sealed pack of cigarettes at it, the whole thing will explode.
So when I go home, all right, kids, we're going to do a science experiment. Come on.
Let's burn down this neighborhood.
Everything you've been taught about fire safety is a myth now. Just with Dave's one statement of like a flame will not ignite.
Fire will not ignite gasoline.
The fire police said so.
The fire police are coming for you, Dave.
The fire police. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
Please do not try that. Anybody.
No.
Ever.
Imagine if somebody did.
Yeah.
What if somebody was listening to the show and they believed in my word that much? They said, "Oh man, this Dave Z never steered me wrong. I'm gonna do it right now."
That's the first mistake.
You're right about that. I admit that. Oh, I'm sorry. It was the cigarette flip. That's what it was, not the match. Okay.
Yeah.
But you do see that in movies a shitload with the cigarette.
You do.
The ash of
RoboCop comes to mind off the top of my head.
There you go.
Lit cigarette there.
I'm glad we worked that out, because man, who knows? Shit.
Glad we worked that out. Have we actually worked anything out? We still have two theories that are kind of just dangling.
Oh no! Don't do the match. Do the cigarette.
No, don't do the cigarette either. Why? You know what? Who knows? You do realize that people have fallen asleep with a cigarette if there's been no gasoline and the house has gone up in flames. I'm figuring if there's a bit of gasoline around, it's not helping the situation.
Oh, so that's it. If you fall asleep with a cigarette in your mouth, make sure you pour gasoline on your lap beforehand. So this way, if it falls in your lap, it will not.
Oh, thank God for the gasoline. Who knew? I just kept a water beside me all this time. All I used to do was
Hold on, I gotta go get my safety gasoline.
Tell that to those monks that lit themselves on fire. Oh, who knew?
Okay. Well, they shouldn't be doing it. They shouldn't be littering anyway. That would be littering, throwing your cigarette. So don't throw it. I take it back. Don't throw the cigarette. Put it out in the ash. Do something with it. Don't throw it on the floor anyway. The floor, I say. The ground, whatever.
John Rhodes, feel free to try it with a cigar.
Have you ever gone in someone's house and their cigarette butts on the floor by chance? I have not. I'm just curious.
I have not.
No.
No.
Me either. However, there are houses you go in and there's cat poop on the floor. And I know this because of stories I've heard for the company I work for. You know, it's electric and gas. And we have to go into people's houses and, you know, go into their basement to for repair or whatever to check their meters or whatnot. And somebody was telling me the story the other day. Some people have like 20 cats, and they're real lazy, and there's just cat turds all over the place, on the floor, everything.
They should be damming them up with toilet roll holders. Damn cats. Shit on my floor.
I won't even discuss the toilet paper roll anymore. Apparently, I'm the only one that thought of it. But what's wrong with being safe? It's better safe than sorry. Like Jason Smith said it yesterday, too. He said the same thing. Many times I've used the facilities and I've gone right to the shower. Okay, that's fine, without wiping. Okay. I don't know. I'm just being safe. I'm covering my ass. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, exactly. Literally and figuratively, both. I'm on it. I'm just like, I don't want to be the guy to take the chance. I'll say it again. Maybe I'm too cautious, but I've had bad luck in different areas.
You know what you should get? We should get you.
Sorry. What chance? Like, what are you taking? Like, what's so bad down there that there's a chance of something happening?
You
I
angered
don't know.
Christian so much that he went into a different realm there. Like,
what did I do?
You were like, I don't know. The whole mic was warping and everything, but it was funny. It added to the anger. This is serial killer stuff, Dave. This is serial killer stuff. This is the stuff you read in books. Like Dahmer was doing this when he was a child.
It's just like wiping your nose. You could blow your nose, or your nose could be running, and you could do nothing about it, and then go wash your face instead, or go and take a shower. Or you could take a Kleenex and freaking wipe.
You do take a Kleenex and wipe. I don't take the box though and shove it up my nostrils.
And what if I do the whole show like this? Like, just want to be safe.
I'm just saying, if you had no Kleenex around, there could be a makeshift thing to use in the meantime, just for a moment until you get to the Kleenex box.
He'll use that Raptors banner in the background.
I might as well this year.
Yeah. Now, Dave, what we're gonna do is instead of the toilet paper rolls, we're gonna get you those giant Band-Aids from Dr. Giggles, and you could wear them like sanitary pads. Just cover from back to front. This way, nothing leaks.
I'll tell you what, I'm changing my lifestyle today. It's changed.
Thank God.
Next time that happens, I'm just gonna wing it. I'm just gonna free bird it, and whatever happens, happens. And if something does happen, I'm gonna be a little upset. I'm gonna be on this podcast to everyone that made a fool of me. I'm gonna say, see what happens? Like I always tell to my daughter, see what happens?
Look, my intestines fell out.
Oh man. But that's it. If it happens again, so be it. But okay, one more thing here. There's another thing. You said something last time, and this is not about that. This is not about that stuff at all. This is not going to be a shit show again. I promise you. It's not that. Christian said, you said that you get up and you walk over to the, a cupboard or a pantry or wherever your toilet paper is stored. Okay?
Pantry. In the kitchen. Don't mind me, honey. I just grab it.
I don't know what they're called.
He's in the kitchen with a fucking diarrhea running down the stove.
Well, hold on. I have a hallway, and at the end of the hallway, you open a door, there's shelves in there, and there's toilet paper, there's towels.
That's a linen closet.
Whatever. Fuck it. It's a pantry to linen. I don't have any.
Bathroom pantry.
Thank you. See, bathroom pantry.
Insults. Put some scary insults on my asshole.
What the fuck's a linen? I don't even know what linen is. I'm not that fucking high-end with
your sheets, your towels, your toiletries.
Oh, okay. Either way, whatever it is you walk to, mine, like I just said, is in my hallway. I'm naked. I'm getting ready to go in the shower. Now, my daughter lives in the house. I'm not just gonna get up naked, you know what I mean, and walk around to this thing, dick dangling, everything. My daughter's in the house. I mean, come on.
I'm sure she's less disturbed with you with a toilet paper roll hanging out your ass. I would come up behind you and blow smoke up that thing. So I'd literally be blowing smoke up your ass.
So that's it. See, you can't walk out there naked, and then what? You can't get dressed, can you?
Well, our closet's within the washroom, so I guess I just luck out that way. We have a closet actually in the washroom. Or there's cabinets underneath.
We do too.
Pantry.
We have a closet in the
There, I
washroom.
got a pantry there too. A walk-in pantry in the washroom.
We have plenty. We have plenty in the washroom. But if I'm out, there are instances where, again, I get wrenched. The stuff that's used in there is not there. That's why I have my own one hidden in my closet in my bedroom. I have a toilet paper hidden in there in a plastic bag up in the right-hand corner that my wife doesn't know about.
Liquor.
Just in case I get boned. But here's the deal. I can't just get up naked because the cats open the bedroom door as well. And again, my daughter's bedroom is across the hallway. I'm not going to have my daughter walk in and see me walking around naked with with or without a piece of cardboard in my ass cheeks, looking for this thing in my closet. So that's the reason.
Okay. Well, that's all good points. Like I said,
all good points, not making by Dave. But
but if you live
here, off the topic. Yeah, great points.
But again, I'm going to concede. I'm going to concede here. Next time that happens to me, I'm going to go free bird. Whatever happens, happens. And maybe nothing will happen. Hopefully it won't. But now I'm changing my lifestyle just because apparently something's wrong with it. everyone laughed at me, So I'm going to conform.
Instead of throwing tampons at him, let's throw empty toilet paper rolls at him.
Plug it up.
Yeah, plug it.
Dave, when I go back to the theater for Rocky Horror, if we get to the point of throwing toilet paper again, I'm just gonna collect it and send it to you.
This is going in our movie.
Plug it up.
Toilet paper.
Dave on the computer. Plug it up. Plug it. You don't mind doing full frontal nudity, do you, Dave?
For money.
You can warm it up before we hit action.
I'll do anything for money. That's different.
Fluffer.
I'm down. No, Holly, you should do if you still can't use toilet paper at Rocky Horror, you guys should just throw the empty rolls.
I thought about it. We're trying to think of ideas.
Do it and put Exploding Heads logos on it like Chris did. He took a picture of one. He sent me a text that had the Exploding Head sticker on it.
Our podcast.
Man,
I'm on it.
We should do that. Could you imagine? That's it.
Instead of marketing our own podcast, why don't we market Exploding Heads? I can just see Holly's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, what?
Guys, I got a great idea. Hear me out.
Hear me out. I won't promote us at all. At all.
It'll be great.
But Exploding Heads? No problem.
Okay, one on each side. We'll each make stickers. Beyond the Screen. Exploding. There's two sides to this thing. It's a genius idea. Think about this. It's comedy and it's a podcast. If we go to like a what do you call it? A convention, we should just load up with freaking those empty toilet rolls and put Exploding Head stickers on them and just throw them everywhere. It'll definitely be memorable. People will see that. You're gonna remember. You're gonna see 100 podcasts marketing their shit, but you're gonna remember the one that randomly had freaking empty toilet rolls with their thing on it. Don't you think?
Yes.
No, I would. I mean, come on. Who are those assholes that were throwing toilet paper? Oh, Exploding Heads. Oh, let's see. Maybe they're funny. I don't know.
Those assholes.
Let me see if they're funny. No, they're not.
Give us 2 episodes at least before making your decision. If you had to say what is one of your favorite episodes that you've done, can you? I hate when people ask me this question because I have so many that I kind of remember that were funny. And Brandon always brings up ones that are like, whenever Brandon answers it or Dave answers, I'm like, shit, those ones are good too. So it's always difficult. But if you had to pick like your top 2 episodes of the show you've done, do you have 2 favorites?
Off the top of my head, one where we talked to my friend Emily. We brought her on because she's a therapist. So like we had her on a couple times and we were talking about deep dives. She's just so chill and fun to listen to. It's not like funny, like high energy episode, but she's just so fun to listen to because she's got that nice soothing therapy voice. And when we get like all manic and like off the rails, she's just like, she's fun to talk to. But What was another one? Oh, I didn't like that one. We did Frankenweenie recently, and then I listened to it, and I was like, oh no, I don't like to hear myself talk that much. Didn't like that.
That's how I feel about Christian.
I feel like that too. When I do go through the show, I'm like, holy fuck, I don't shut up. It's when you don't make a point, when you don't shut up, and then you realize, I don't think I made a point in there. That's where I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But I keep it in.
I just ramble.
I keep it in. Warts and all.
Ramble. Yeah.
But what episode was the one with Holly? It was not Holly.
Emily.
Sorry.
She's on all of them. It's her show.
Emily. I corrected myself.
I tend to be on all of them.
God forbid you say one thing wrong. Just you flub up like cinematography or something like that. And then you get ram it down your throat for shows to come. Anyway, Emily, what episode was Emily on? I'm sorry. Putting you on the spot.
I feel bad. I can't remember. She was on a couple months ago. I can't even remember. But
so everybody listen to the whole back catalog.
Yes, exactly.
Bottom line.
Listen to every single one.
I'll tell you what I liked the most was a show where they discussed originals and remakes of the same films, but only from the only not about the films themselves as a whole, but it was about the practical effects of the original versus the the way they did it in the remake, CGI and stuff like that, and did comparisons. I thought that was a great idea for a show, and I really enjoyed that. It's good.
I think you wanted to steal that one.
Yeah, that was the month where we were focusing on special effects for that month, and we had my biological sister on because she's a makeup artist as she does special effects, and that. Because I've only recently met my birth sister like a couple years ago. I still haven't seen her in person. We're like so close, but she was on for that episode. Check that out. She's really cool.
Awesome.
I was so amazed when I first met her and like started talking to her. I was like, we're the same person. We are the same person. Just like in love with horror since the womb, and we're just the same.
But you didn't know that until 2 years ago.
Yeah. Like I just recently met her. Yeah, she was
awesome.
8 or 9 when I was born, and then I was adopted as a child, as a newborn. So yeah, just never knew about each other, never knew what each other was like, and we're both into like every single thing the same.
Wow.
So great.
That's so cool. You should do a show just on that.
I know,
right? Totally. Now, how close are you in age?
She's about 8 or 9 years older than me.
Okay.
Math is not our forte on this show. When she was 8 or 9, I was born. I heard it.
Oh, did she? I'm sorry. Yeah. I had to. Well, hold on. I had a distraction. There was wrench action over here, and I had to move.
I didn't hear it, Dave, and I didn't have wrench action. I didn't hear it either. I heard 2 years, and I just immediately thought of a 2-year age gap.
See?
Oh, and episode 145 will be special effects original versus remake.
I can give you our months.
Yep.
I could give you our month's plan so that you guys can structure your shows.
We have no plan, so that'd be great. Actually, that'd be fantastic. Frankenweenie's next too.
Yes. Man, imagine that. Imagine if somebody. Oh wait, no, forget. We've done that already. I was gonna say, imagine if someone else picked everything for us. I was like, oh wait a minute, that already does happen.
That's every fucking show, Dave. Even when we took control back of our show, it's still every show for some reason.
Well, we're doing it.
Control these.
We're doing it perfectly.
Decided. Jill threw it out there. She's like, I'd like to see the collector in the collection, and it came in like a second place in the poll, and she was really upset that it didn't win. We said we're going to do it anyway.
Jill, when you threw it out there, my idea was to just throw it right back, but these guys wanted to keep it.
Oh, Mamma mia. Well, there you go. Segue. Perfect. We may as well. Yeah. Do we need a break or anything? So we took a minute break. Now it's a minute. I'm gonna run upstairs, do my thing. Christian had to do his thing. Whatever. So I run to the top of the stairs, and they're upstairs cleaning. So of course I get a little wrench action. Now the door's closed. Now for this door to be closed to the basement, the only time that door gets closed is when it's being mopped upstairs. So it's obviously being mopped. Ginny, my cat, is on this side of the door. She looks at me, she cries, she wants out. Now, she can't go on the floor. You know, they're mopping it. It's poisonous to them, whatever. It's, you know. So I know she wants to get out, but she can't. I can't get out. So now I said, we're going to run for a minute. So now I got to go pee. So now I did something I've never done before. You know, in the laundry room, you know, when you have your washing machine and you have those two like basin things that are like next to each other, and one of them you can turn on water and there's a little, there's soap in the one when the washing machine and water comes out. I had to pee in there. Do you think that's okay?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's.
Is it bad?
I'm just going to stop hitting record and pretend that I didn't hear the story.
That's fine. I'm off the show.
I've never done that before. So
no human being has.
What is going on in your household?
I got locked out. I had to pee. What else am I
Dave,
going to pee?
tell us which rooms you have not peed or defecated in.
Holy shit.
There's soap and water in that thing. I figure it's safe to pee in there, right? No? I can turn on the water.
Maybe they were doing
after,
dishes in there. Who knows?
Doing dishes? No, it's in the laundry
dishes in there. It's a
room.
laundry. It's a laundry. It's for cleaning
fuck.
laundry, pre-soaking.
Sorry.
And
Oh, the piss
Nothing
away.
ever goes in there.
next time Frankie puts on her clothes to go to school, and she's like, "Man, why do I smell like fucking piss today?"
No, it can't go in there.
Daddy!
It's okay,
Goonie!
Dave, because I really had to go number 2, but I'm locked in my room, so I'm gonna use this double VHS of Braveheart and plug it up for the rest of the show. And I picked the double. I was gonna go with a single Shawshank Redemption, but I'm doing a double Braveheart.
You need the double.
That needs
Yeah.
a double.
Well, yeah, you gotta have
No one
enough
bought
room.
that.
It was either this or Titanic. I couldn't decide which double. Actually, I think Titanic might be 4.
Well, don't ever do that.
That was
Don't
slide
ever
in
Shit in
easily.
a box. Don't ever shit in a box.
Hey, don't worry, it's a cut box. It's a cut box.
Wise words from Dave. Don't ever shit in a box.
Don't ever shit in the
You have
box.
to have water.
Yeah, but
Water
piss in the
dilutes
laundry.
it so- I never knew until that time I did that what a difference water makes. Holy cow. Ooh, all the difference in the world.
You just said
My
water
God.
dilutes things. I never knew that.
This is yeah.
No, I
this
just
is
never knew
shit
how
you
much
learn
it
when,
dilutes
like when I was a
the
kid. I'm like, you know, when you go to camp and you had to use like a Johnny on the spot, or like you realize this is not the same as home. That's why they stink, Dave. That's why you need water.
Johnny sounds like a terrible counselor. Piss on me, Christian.
Will
But is
do,
that really
Johnny.
absurd? Is it really absurd that I peed in that thing now, or no?
Actually, no. I don't
More that
think
you told
so.
the story.
No, Holly. I trust the female perspective here. Is that gross that I did
No.
that? I sanitized too, you know.
What's she gonna say? No.
I want to know. No, I listen. Female friends of mine, I always ask them their honest opinion on certain things because I like to know. Just because I'm like, please give me your answer. I've been doing this all my life. I want to give me your honest answers. But do you think is that gross? You know what I'm talking about?
In
that
a
thing, right?
pinch, when you're stuck and you couldn't go anywhere, gotta do what you gotta do.
Okay, it's not going to smell off the room or anything, right? There's soap and water in there.
Yeah, he was
right?
in a real pinch, stuck in his house with multiple bathrooms. Man, it must. Jeez.
Well, I couldn't open the door because then Ginny would go on the freshly mopped floor.
That's
I
true.
can't
You
do
might.
that. There's
yeah,
a
you
reason
can't
the
risk-
door's closed.
You can't risk killing the cat. At least you
And
didn't use the
pissing off
cat.
my wife. And pissing off my wife. There's two things I can't risk doing. It's
Yeah,
not
don't-
worth it.
Piss
do
off the
that.
wife, so piss in the sink.
Oh, but I would shit in that thing if I had to, if it meant not pissing off my wife. Believe
Now, what
me,
would
I
you use as
It's
toilet
not worth it.
paper? Would you use that Cropsy poster behind you?
I don't know. I'd have to take this thing off this and shove it in my ass. Does that make
Hey.
you happy?
Hey, where'd that Leatherface poster go that's always behind Dave?
I can't. This is a great I can't do that. I'd have to find something. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't do it, but I'm just saying I don't want to piss off my wife because it's not worth it. I learn to choose my battles and do things that I wouldn't ordinarily do just to avoid an argument. So if it meant shitting someplace I don't want to shit to not have to hear her shit, I would do it. Okay.
This is our anti-shit episode, everybody.
Sorry. It all started because of that pee thing, you know. And I hope everybody
pee turns
who's
to shit.
listening knows what I'm talking
Push
about
comes
when
to
I talk
shove.
about those two tubs.
I guarantee
I'll take a picture.
nobody does.
You know what I mean, right?
I know exactly what he's
Yeah.
talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's that those
Worst
tubs.
case
I don't even know
scenario, I'll
what they're
piss
good.
back in this can if I can't get out of the door. But
Oh, he got a seltzer. He got a bubbly. Nice.
Bublé.
It's Michael Bublé. That's my favorite singer. Right there.
Have you seen the commercial with him, or is that just in Canada?
No, it's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, who knows with you guys? Is that a long weekend in the
Nothing's
States?
just in Canada.
Trust
Oh.
me. Do
Everything
you have
started
Victoria Day
somewhere.
tomorrow? No, you do not have Victoria Day tomorrow. Tomorrow's a statutory holiday in Canada. We're back to this again. Statutory holiday. That's what they're called. Do you guys you had Memorial Day a few weeks ago, right?
No, it's in
Next week.
Next week.
Oh, it's next week. Well, I thought it was at the beginning of May.
Now you guys always do it the week before we do. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
It's not always.
What-
Sometimes.
When's your 4th of July? I'm sorry. I know I never get tired of that joke though, even though I crack it every.
Every
Well,
year.
don't they
And every
have
year
one?
I get enraged. July 1st. We have one. We've had this conversation 15 times on the show.
Sorry, I forget.
But the joke is, I wanted to know when his 4th of July is.
Yeah. I hope the borders are closed and they're talking about reopening. I'm just praying that they just lock them down. I'm still waiting for the wall to be built. Get Trump back in and build it between Canada and the States. I'll support that.
Okay, let's talk about Canada. I was gonna wait for another
wouldn't
show.
support.
I've been holding this for a while. There's a couple of things.
Uh-oh.
This thing was printed at the end of April. Toronto Sun ran this article, and it says, this is the
you're a
headline.
rag.
Study suggests link between illegal drug use and non-traditional sex. Okay? So,
It sounds
talk
like a
about
Toronto
living
Sun.
rock and roll lifestyle. Yeah, this is a study done in Toronto. This is what they're spending their money on. So they found out that those who use a variety of illegal drugs are more likely to engage in non-traditional sexual activities, such as hooking up with a friend or stranger, anal sex, and BDSM, a study suggests. And they
I would
found
figure
this out.
anal's traditional now. I think it's how long does it have to be till it becomes traditional?
Yeah.
You know, at what point was anal sex was ooh, interesting. Now it's
I want
I
to
feel
see.
like
I want to see the charts.
We know it's on the rise. It's definitely on the rise. But I mean, well, it is compared to like 20, 30 years ago. It is. It's more common now. It's just the fact. I blame pornography. It's just the way it is. You know what I mean? But not to get deep into it.
I blame pornography.
Well,
Wow.
sure. But anyway, so that's what they're spending their money on there. Something that was probably already obvious. I think if you're whacked out on drugs, you're more likely to do all kinds of crazy sexual things, right? I mean,
Don't you find when you hear the results of any study that's run, you're like, they spent money on that? I could have told you that without running the study.
But what were
Anytime.
the statistics on rock and roll in there too?
Oh yeah, let's see here. I guess rock and roll. I think. See, we're getting boned. It's like horror fans. Like they're assuming that people that do drugs listen to rock and roll. I think that's really what it is. Let's see. Less than 10% engaged in BDSM of those. Okay. Well, money exchanged for sex, less than 5%. Let's see. Okay, our study revisited the well-known phrase of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and has proven that both recreational drug use and non-traditional sexual activities are linked and also have become the norm. Indeed, adults who report taking at least 2 illicit drugs are more likely to engage in non-traditional sexual behaviors. The music is no longer rock and roll, and the sex has changed as well. So I don't know.
It's Canadian choir music and ass chaps, basically.
No, it's all gone to hip hop now. Hip hop is just encompassed. It's pretty much pop. Everything's just in hip hop now. It's like hip hop and then rock. That's what's
So
happened.
weird.
And in the States,
You know
country
what?
music, because nobody else
Hey,
in the
look at
world
Christian. Look, he
listens
froze
to
up.
that. I don't care if I froze. It's perfect.
I wanted Dave to see you. You froze with a goofy.
I was reading about that. They surveyed 2,600 adults who attended music festivals between 2016 and 19 and asked them about recent experiences involving drugs and sex. So that's the rock and roll. They went to music festivals.
They were probably going to like EDM festivals, I'm willing to bet.
Probably, yeah. See, it's targeted, right? Yep.
When I hear you
by
read
the
this, sorry, Dave, go ahead.
No.
I didn't read this, so yeah.
University of Roehampton, University of Liverpool, and Bournemouth University in the UK. So this is UK.
Nothing in Canada.
It's a Toronto. I know, but it's a Toronto Sun article. So I don't know why. I heard that the Toronto put this out.
Must have been a slow news day in Toronto. Be like, what's going on in England?
When I hear you read that, I just wish we had the Fangoria segment back.
It's coming back next show. Well, maybe the show after. Jerk.
Jerk.
I deserve that, actually. Thank you, Dave. Dave's always so nice. That's the first time he's probably called me a jerk. Like, he's so nice. And then finally he's like, fuck you.
Don't mess with his fangos.
Yeah. So this is it. And I'll end it here. Of a subsample group of about 1,000 people, 40% have participated in non-traditional sexual activities, whatever that means. 28% of the group had hooked up with a friend. 19% had sex with a stranger, and 11% engaged in anal sex. So only 11 out of 1,000.
Anal's been categorized, taken out. They separated anal.
I find if I take a Tylenol PM, I wind up masturbating with my offhand. So that's as crazy as I get.
Do you put it on ice for like 10 minutes first, though? You should put your hand in the freezer for a bit. Numb it up.
You know, I was doing the lawn the other day. I came home and I cut the grass, and I having issues with my lawnmower. And the grass was so long that it took 2 hours instead of the usual 45 minutes. So by the time I was done, my hands, they were still like they were numb. They were vibrating. They were a freaking mess. And I thought about it. I thought about it for that minute because I've heard people say
I thought about it for... I'm sorry, Dave.
No, it's funny.
Actually,
they were really vibrating. They felt like they were.
We need more clarification. What were you thinking about? Are you gonna fuck that lawnmower? Is that what you were thinking about?
But you just said I thought about doing the stranger because everything was numb and all.
Stranger.
And if it would have worked, you know what I mean? But I smelled like grass too much.
If you wait till the sun goes down, you can call it the stranger pray at night.
He gave it the collector instead. He stuck a couple of needles through it.
Okay, the collector. You're right.
Sorry.
You're right. The other
I'm trying
Canadian...
to segue back in, and
we are supposed
I was very curious about where that lawnmower story was going.
Nothing special. It just when he said doing the left hand thing, PM, it just took me back to the other day because I thought about it for a minute. I was like, I wonder if this would work, but I didn't do it. Grass. I can't. Every time I cut the grass, I even when I shower after, I can't get the smell like out. I couldn't imagine doing that for a living. I think I'd smell like mechanics. I think they always smell like oil to themselves. You know, it's like grass. I'm like, man, I couldn't get the smell out of me. I was like,
grass. You're walking on grass.
Yeah, my dad used to work at a factory where he painted metals for buildings and stuff, or cars, and he always had that like metal mechanic smell to him.
Right? There's nothing you can do. It sucks.
Grass. I like the smell of fresh cut grass, but I don't necessarily know if the smell gets in my nose the way you're describing it.
I don't know. Bottom line is,
Dave's cutting the grass with a scissor. He's on the grass. That's why it took him 2 hours to do it.
I also hate every minute I'm doing it. I'm like, fuck grass. Why don't I take this grass out of here and just landscape so that I don't have to deal with any fucking grass?
It was so bad. It was so bad that I took the weed whacker to everything for half an hour before I started mowing. Because in the backyard, I have certain patches that get higher than others. So I weed whack them. Because what happens is if the grass is too high, the mower stalls. It can't fucking handle it. And the grass really didn't look that high to me because the neighbors were on the same. I was maybe an inch higher than the neighbors. So it didn't seem that
only
high.
had one toke.
And really, I just did the grass less than 10 days prior. But I've decided after this last episode, I'm going to cut it every fucking Thursday night from now on, whether it needs it or not.
143? Oh, episode of the grass. Sorry. I thought you meant of the show.
Oh, sorry.
Whatever.
You got me there. Holy shit. No Fangoria today. The collector. How's that?
And Yes. And before we get into a joke, we are going to start with the Collector 1. Just the Collector instead of the collection, because I knew it was going to come. At some point, Brandon would make a joke. But now, should we start with the spoilers for the collection, or we're doing spoiler
No, do you want
reviews?
Want to start with the canceled third film that they were going to do?
So they did officially cancel it because my daughter asked if it was still coming. I thought I heard that they were thinking of doing it again. Sorry, Dave.
I'm sorry. I just got excited because I knew
I'm sorry.
I knew a fact. They shot for 8 days. Imagine that. They did 8 days of filming and they freaking abandoned it.
Shit.
Weird, huh?
Yeah, I was reading that, the producers, they just wouldn't answer phone calls or anything. So they're like, well, can't really do much. So it's abandoned.
Crap.
You know,
was this recently? Because I thought I remember hearing it was back. Yeah, okay. Like last year?
No, I read this like last month.
Yeah, this is real recent.
it was really recent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what they could have done for it? They could have used part 3 to answer the questions that I thought when part 1 ended, it would be answered in part 2. That would have been great. But we'll never know.
I want to know
Arkin
what... I got to... Okay.
Get to it.
We got to get into
questions. Yeah.
All right. Collector, 2009. Desperate to repay his debt to his ex-wife, an ex-con plots a heist at his new employer's country home, unaware that a second criminal has also targeted the property and rigged it with a series of deadly traps.
Is that true? Was he paying a debt back to his ex-wife? I thought she had a debt and he was helping her get the money.
Yeah.
This IMDb. I just read IMDb. Even if it's wrong, I don't give a fuck. This is the writer and directors who did Saw 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15.
Not director, I don't think, but the writers. Because the directors...
Yeah.
Yeah, director's Bousman, you know that. Did you see Spiral? Yeah.
Bousman.
No, I can't.
Did you see Spiral?
Theaters are closed here, and it's not for streaming, so I can't.
I have not seen it yet, but I will see it.
Yeah, I plan on going this week sometime.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Isn't he a Super Mario character? Bousman.
Bowser is one.
Oh,
yeah.
Bowser.
Yeah, he's the big one. He's the large Koopa guy. He's King Bowser. He's got the freaking thing and the crown on his head. And he's a turtle thing. Yeah.
He's a turtle thing.
Yeah. Sorry. Wow. You know me. It's childhood.
Mario. All right.
So
what do we want to say? Somebody say something.
Yeah, the Collector. It's
ratings.
You're right. Right. Well, I hadn't watched these films since first watch. I remembered nothing of this movie. I went in, it was like seeing the film for the first time. Again, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it did take a little, maybe, and again, there is setup, but I felt something was weird at the beginning. The pacing just felt off. But once we get moving, it's a great ride. It's fun. Yeah, of course you're going to have questions left, right, and center. The guy walks into a house that he was there earlier in the day, and all these elaborate traps were set like Nightmare on Elm Street style, but way more elaborate, that he suddenly, it seems like he turns a corner and there's like a new trap set up for him as he's going around the corner. But I let that go and just enjoyed the movie for what it was. And it's shitloads of fun. And it's gory, but I feel like I was expecting it to be worse. For my recollection of these movies were that it was much gorier than it actually was. So opening thoughts. That's kind of
it's Saw without the moral compass. We don't need Jigsaw. No life lessons to be learned here. Just a showcase of extreme violence, and it's a blast. The first film, and I don't have great memories of this. I saw this in the movie theaters with my mother the day my father had his heart attack. So we came home from this movie on the way home as he's being loaded into the ambulance. So I got into the ambulance with him. We drive. We're on the highway. We're going to the hospital. We pull over on the side of the road. My father has a massive heart attack. They're telling me he's dying. That because you're not allowed to shock somebody in an ambulance while it's moving. That's another thing in the movies that's wrong. Because we're pulled over on the highway and they're shocking him back to life.
Holy crap!
Shit.
Yeah. And then they told us, they're like, oh, he's not going to make it through the night. This is 11 months after my mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And I'm just like, holy shit, both my parents are going to be dead soon. And then, but I still enjoy the movie. Just my experience
kill the
with
buzz,
this
Dad.
Hey, he's alive. He lived through the night, and it's 12 years later, and he's still alive.
Wow. That's what
Right
doctors, eh? What do they know? That's another thing they get wrong in movies. They think they know everything in the movies.
Hey, they got my mom right. She's not allowed.
Oh,
They were
shit.
one for two.
Brandon! Damn it!
1 out of 2. You know what they say? 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Oh,
Okay.
bless your heart,
yeah.
son.
Yeah.
Wow.
Indeed.
It gets
I
dark
had
on the
no
show.
Other sense of humor.
I
That's
had
another
no
sense of
problem buying into the trap set here because of the fact that we find out who he is at the end. So he has plenty of time, and this is sort of out in the middle of nowhere, this house. So I have no problem with that.
I don't
More
care.
so,
That's the movie.
yeah, that's the movie.
So
The
what did
issues
you have
come in the
questions
sequel.
about?
I don't have questions about anything in this one.
I have a few questions, but I mean, it's more towards the way they wrap it up at the end. But I'll get to that.
I saw I saw the second one, the collection first, not knowing that it was a sequel. I think I saw it maybe in like 2015 when like right after my son was born, and I was just like picking horror movies and while he was napping, and I even went back and I checked the description on IMDb. There's really no indication that it was a sequel, so when I read it I was like, oh cool, and then I was like, oh shit, that was a sequel. And I was amazed that I didn't really feel lost, because we'll get into that. But then when I saw this, I was like, wow, I'm kind of glad that I saw it backwards, because I really enjoyed, like the story and the setup and how it was the contained at home. It was like Home Alone, like if Kevin McAllister like grew up to be a psychopath. So it was fun.
Yeah,
Well, it's
that's
a more
exactly
home
what it is.
invasion. Home invasion style. And the second one, like, one thing about the second one, because I know that I already got raked over the coals like in Messenger last night about saying that I actually think I preferred the second one, watching them back to back almost. And it's just, again, fun. And they went a different route. Instead of doing another home invasion movie, I like the fact that they take it to this sort of crazy abandoned hotel. But we'll get to that movie after. Two separate stories, which is what you kind of want.
I'll overlook that one, but let's just say this. I think the first one is way better because it establishes a sense of tension. The whole cat and mouse between Arkin and the Collector is great, whereas in the second one, it's just... to me, the second one feels like the ending of Saw 3 that I love, just dragged out without a big reveal. It's like they're walking, and it's like they're walking the whole movie to a big reveal with no tension, characters you don't give a shit about. And this one, I genuinely liked every single character. They present this family as very likable. They have issues, but he's not an adulterer, the husband. The mother, she's not a bitch. Like it's just, they're a normal family. They just happen to be well off and live in this beautiful house, and I just like it.
Well, you're not wrong there. I mean, they're better characters. Sorry, Holly, go ahead.
I enjoy that they give an explanation as to why they are so isolated. Like the wife, she was like, he makes mention, that she needs to feel secure, and she says later, I was always prepared for like being robbed or, getting raped, and that's why I'm so nervous and I want a secure house. I don't want to be around people. And that it gave a good explanation and it helped with the tension.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everything about the first one, it's cool. Like you said, the family is cool. There's tension. It's one of those isolated, horror movies. And I do enjoy it, and I don't question the traps and all. See, that's what I'm saying. My complaints that I'm going to have are questions in this one and the next one. I'm not going to nitpick. That'd be nitpicking. Well, how this, and this traps, and this and that. How much time does he have? I'm not going to do that because I'm along for the ride. That's fine. To me, those are critiques that aren't fair. If you're going to be that type of person that's going to watch that movie and do it, then you just probably don't like horror movies, because a lot of horror movies, it's part of the ride, man.
And this guy's Superman. This guy's Superman. I mean, he's a brilliant engineer. He's a brilliant entomologist, and he's like a military trained assassin. So you got to suspend all that. You could complain like crazy for the second one. For this one, I just feel like it's Jigsaw. I don't feel like these traps are overly complicated. It just looked like he spent a lot of time, like he needed a good 4 or 5 hours really setting this up like Nancy did in Nightmare.
At least.
Right.
At least with some of these machines. And then he's got boarded up windows and everything else when the house wasn't like that hours prior. So, I mean, but again, you just go along with it. But then when you realize he's in the house and he's trying to get through windows and they've been boarded out from the outside or whatever, maybe they're from the inside because he does pry them off. Either way, time was needed to set that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they knew what they were doing. He knew what he was doing because he has access to the house. He's there. This guy is getting rid of the bugs. The other guy is, what is he, security or something? Is that what Arkin does?
Oh, Arkin's like a jack of all trades. He's
just like a handyman.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know exactly. I don't know. I always get confused because his name was Arkin. So I remember like going into the movie, I was thinking his name was Arkin, but the other guy kills bugs, so I was thinking of the Orkin Man and everything. So it kind of is he get rid of? You know what the Orkin Man is?
I know the Orkin Man.
Orkin, the guy that killed bugs. They've been around since the 60s.
Orkin, yeah. The exterminators, yes.
Oh, Orkin, the killer whale.
I thought he said the Organ Man. I'm like, who the fuck is
the Organ Man, the organ donor.
I gotta play it like I thought he was like Pied Piper, but he played like the organ and then like all like the.
Are we boring Holly that bad, or did
I think Holly froze?
Oh no!
Holly, oh no, she's gone.
Hi Holly, that was Holly. Thank you for joining us. All right, let's get on with the show. No,
she froze. Let's see.
She's frozen. She's gone.
She probably
froze.
I realized I showed so much chest off. She back?
Let's see what happened. I don't see it. Do I have to? No, she's still in the call.
She comes back to go ratings.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, she just wrote to me. Not having computer issues, just bored with you guys.
I hate being on the show. Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, let's see. Oh no, that was before. I'm on again.
Can't we just invite her back? Oh, I got kicked out trying to rejoin. That just popped up as a message.
Kicked out? Kicked out of what?
Well, it might have been her thing. Who knows? Well, hopefully she.
Oh, okay. Kicked out of where she was at. Kicked out
the Orkin Man.
Yeah, you know the Orkin.
I know the Orkin Man. It's funny because with all the bugs, I never thought of the Orkin Man, especially with Arkin. Like that's funny.
And that's why I was confused.
Yeah, of course that's gonna confuse you because you're like, oh, Orkin Man.
So is he the guy that's killing? Because they kept calling him Mr. Arkin. Oh, Mr. Arkin. I'm thinking, wait, is he the guy killing bugs? I thought it was the killer that's killing bugs. Because he's the Orkin Man. But he's Arkin. I don't know. Uh-oh. Where the hell? When they got kicked out of?
When is she? Because I see live, and then I just see her.
Hold on.
I can't tell which one is what.
Let me see here.
Oh, there she is.
Okay.
Hey!
Don't know what happened there.
Hey, we're almost done with the collection now, so you'll...
All right, cool. Good talk.
We were talking about the Orkin. You know what the Orkin Man is?
Yeah.
She's like, shit, I froze and we're still on the Orkin Man?
I was so hoping that we were on
I was so hoping to come back and this Orkin Man shit would be done.
I'm done with the Orkin Man. He's done. But the Orkin Man, this guy's bugs. This guy's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not the Orkin Man. But he should.
Your brain confuses you, Dave. It's funny. I want to watch you. I just want to watch you watching movies.
Right? Like, except you don't know what I'm saying. Thank you.
I want to, and I want to see like a monologue being done of what's going on inside your brain. I feel like they'll be more entertaining than most of the movies we watch. Like, oh, that's Arkin. This guy likes bugs. Orkin Man. Wait, is Arkin the killer or is it Orkin?
That is my mind. And then I start thinking about. Then I start thinking about the Poly-Orchid Man. You know what the Poly-Orchid Man is?
Is he the one who has many wives?
No, he's the one that has many testicles. I'm not kidding you. A Poly-Orchid Man is the man with 3 testicles.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Like a spare.
I have no joke for this.
There is no joke for it. When we were kids, one of my friends told me when we were in junior high, it was, because when at that time everything's really funny like that, and they go, oh yeah, I think he's a Poly-Orchid Man, just busting somebody's balls. I'm like, what's a Poly-Orchid Man? He said it's a man with 3 testicles.
He all his friends are like, I'm polyamorous, I'm Poly-Orkin.
I'm a poly. Orkin.
Polly Orchid.
Polly Orchid Man.
Orchid.
Isn't that the cake song?
Polly Orchid?
Orchid. Yeah. The root.
I thought Orchid. I had it all wrong.
I don't even know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Who said what the who?
Yeah.
What movie are we talking about here? Jesus freaking Christ.
Polyorchidism. Polyorchidism is the incidence of more than 2 testicles. It is a very rare congenital disorder. So a person that has it is called a polyorchid man. Yeah. So I always knew that because of the orchid man and the polyorchid man. It was a joke when I was a kid. You know.
The polyorchid man.
So anyway, like they've had the empty man, the slender man, now the polyorchid man.
He's gonna be in the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
He could be Balchinian.
Some low-hanging fruit. That's gonna be his tagline.
We should have a Balchinian guy in our movie, but he's a polyorchid Balchinian.
A polyorchid.
Yeah. That'd be something. Anyway, this movie here, Gary Tunnicliffe does the makeup effects. Really talented, and he also directed Hellraiser. What was the last one? Judgment, the newest one. That was he directed that one, and he's done a few makeup for a few Hellraiser movies. Yeah, but I noticed his name coming out. This movie, I like the soundtrack in it. They play a lot of good music throughout. You know, they got a remix of Depeche Mode, "I Feel You," which that's like my favorite Depeche Mode song, and I know Charlie Clouser was involved in part 2. I want to say he was here as well because there's good beats in here as far as the score, and he's really talented. But that's something I noticed about this movie is the use of music, the score, the sound design, all that stuff. Anything that has to do with auditory things was done really well in this first movie. Maybe not as much in the second as far as the soundtrack is concerned, like their choice of songs, but that's something that sticks out in this movie.
I thought that too. I enjoyed the soundtrack for the first one. Second one, I didn't notice it as much.
Right. It's stuff I don't know. Maybe it's just us being unfamiliar with the music they're using, but this is, stuff that I guess we're more familiar with. But man, here's the thing. This guy comes in. We have Arkin doing his thing. We have the other guy doing his thing. He sets up. Now, at the end of the movie, I'll wait till the end. I'm sorry. It's just that, okay, this guy, I won't wait till the end because this is what's going to bother me. This guy, all he does at the end of the movie.
This guy.
Okay, Orkin, or whatever, the collector. Let's call him the bug guy. Whatever the hell his name is. All he does is, obviously, they call this guy on the phone and they schedule him to come by and take care of everything, the wasps, everything that's going on. So they know him. He's easy to find. Then at the end of the movie, all this guy does is tear off the fucking the sign on the side of his work truck that says his company's name on it and proceeds on his business after he's done all the killing. Now, and then the cop even asked the other guy, oh yeah, we found out. He even says the name of the company. So if they know the name of his company and everything else, why the hell wouldn't he just be arrested? Why put all that stuff into it?
I thought it was a front. I didn't think that was his company. I thought it was all just
But they still had to call him. Okay, then how did he get to the house to kill the bugs if it's
because they didn't know there was going to be a sequel. That's really the only explanation for me. Like they're not going to make him as clever as they do in the second one and the first one because they think maybe like this is it. It's a one and done. So this is going to be our ending. The killer gets away. He was a crazy exterminator, and he pulls the thing off and he drives away.
That's fine. I'll give you that. They didn't expect a sequel. For this movie alone, that's not such a big thing. There is one thing about this movie that does bother me. And again, I enjoy the movie, but I'm just going to get that out of the way. And the whole movie is the story about this guy trying to get this diamond or whatever the hell it is to get the money to get to his wife by midnight.
That's my problem with it. Even if he gets the stone, he has no money.
Well, I don't care about that.
Or the value. Who knows? Like they just assume it's valuable, but they have no money. So to get there by midnight doesn't solve her issue of needing the money at that point.
That's okay though. You can hand that to the loan shark.
If he gives that big ruby or whatever it is to the guy he's in partner with, that guy's gonna give him money. Or if he shows it to whoever the loan sharks or whoever the wife owes money too. Like I think we're nitpicking here.
I agree. No, that's not my complaint. My complaint is that we care about this character arc in the whole movie, and we see his love for his daughter, and we see that his ex is giving him shit, or his current, whatever. She's giving him shit, and he has this goal, and he has to get this done. And we're on board with him because we want him to survive. And, of course, we want everyone to survive. But, I mean, we want him to get out and save what's going on with his wife and daughter. And then the movie ends, and if you're watching this movie, that doesn't happen. It's not even addressed. He says, what time is it? Oh, it's almost midnight. Oh, great. Can you call my wife? And then, boom. Obviously, this never happens. He doesn't get to her.
That's perfect. That's great. I liked that. You don't like that?
She got kicked off.
Holly, yeah.
I think we lost.
She saw it
Holly
happening.
again.
She saw it happening, too, because she said,
she's
hopefully,
like,
please don't let this happen again. And then it happened. I love that aspect, Dave. I mean, because they address it. You're like, oh, he's going to make it. And we're going to get that. At least he's going to go through with it, like with what needed to happen. And then he got wrenched. And
yeah, that's that downbeat ending.
Die.
That's that downbeat ending you normally like. Oh, he's going to make it to her on time. It's almost midnight. He's going to get to her. He's going to be like, I have the money. Tell them we'll get you the money. We'll be fine. And then boom, downbeat ending. Right,
but then that's fine if it's a standalone. But then next comes a sequel, and
what happened? The sequel is a mess. Welcome back, Holly.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with my Skype.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. We were just
Dave,
saying.
What was because I have a nitpick about that whole like the storyline with his wife.
Well,
that's how we're still talking about.
Yeah.
And it's not addressed. He didn't make it in time. It's not addressed,
right.
And that's it. End of the movie.
Yeah, that was my issue with it too, because I was thinking, if he goes back to the guy that he's in partner with, like he's still not going to make it at midnight because he's just has this rock, that he owes to somebody else too. So either way, he's not making it.
Yeah, they should have. I don't know. They could have done something. But it's a bigger deal to me that there's a sequel. And it picks up, and nothing is said. The wife should not be alive. Everything should be, but we'll get to it. But
at least the daughter's not alive. She's not even acknowledged.
Exactly. That's how do you drop all that? But how do you?
Because it's such a small part of the movie. They were again. We'll get to it. I think you guys are nitpicking on that. I didn't even.
I'm not nitpicking. I love the first one. I didn't think of any of this. I just saw it as a downbeat ending. Oh shoot. Yeah. The wife's not going to be saved. The daughter's going to be orphaned, and Arkin's going to be killed. But then we get the sequel, of course. But the thing that bugged me, and I could be wrong with this because I wasn't really paying close attention. When he first walks in the house, he beelines it to the master bathroom where the safe is behind the mirror. Now, does he go upstairs to do that? Because then later on we see the steps have spikes in them, and obviously everything's booby. So he makes it to the bathroom very easily before realizing that the whole house is booby trapped later on.
No, that's what I said. It was almost like it was in the process of being set up, and like 2 traps are set up. They're already in the basement maybe, and he hits that. Remember, he goes up the steps and squeaks them. They creak. And he realizes it's a bad step. And then that's what also alerts him to someone else being in the house when he's breaking the safe or cracking the safe. But you're right. That's why I was making the joke earlier.
Maybe they're back steps.
But
that's what I thought, because when the daughter and her boyfriend are in the kitchen, I thought they were in the kitchen going up a different set of steps.
It could be.
I thought you were joking about backstepping or whatever, but that's why I was laughing. And you're looking at me like, no, I'm being serious. But you could be right. But the thing is that it is going up, and I think it is the same staircase, and that's why I made the joke earlier that he rounds the corner, and there's always new things kind of set up. Like half joking, but that's kind of how it plays out. Suddenly the front door's a big thing. There's a chandelier with knives up top. Like there's a lot of shit that's sort of set up that when we first go through that house, we notice nothing wrong. And that's kind of what's interesting about it. But you could possibly nitpick. I didn't. I had more of an issue, like not even an issue, but I just said, how's he turning this ruby into cash by midnight? And then at least to get the phone call to say, like, I'm on the way. I was forgiving you with the Holly. I totally know where you're going because, it's just before midnight. He's not making it. But I think it was just a way to address it so that Dave I thought you'd be happy even though you weren't, and then you get this downbeat sucker punch ending, and he's not going to make it after all. And
I think I would have seen it more as a downer ending had there not been a sequel.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
just
Yes.
because there's no bridge there, it feels like. But if they're expecting to not have a sequel, I get it.
would have been great if there was a post-credit sequence where you just see his wife going no, and then someone shoots her in the head. But then she should have come back as a different actress in part 2.
She does too. You're right. Yeah, that's great.
New wife, no kid.
Yeah.
Whole new lifestyle.
He's living the dream.
Right. He got rid of his wrench. He's got no children anymore.
Wow.
Crazy.
But the cat and mouse, you would think it would get old or get a little stale after a while. But I love it throughout the whole movie. The tension really builds. The whole idea that for a long time the collector doesn't know Arkin's in the house. The fact that Hannah's hiding the whole time, which again could be another little nitpick. Like, here's this master brilliant guy, and like I'm not even aware if he knows that Hannah even exists. I mean, he's got to, but he's never really looking for her.
Yeah.
You notice that the collector never really looks for Hannah, not until the very end when she's banging on the wall when Arkin's already outside.
Oh, see, that's my problem. I forgot about that. At the end of the movie, okay, Arkin, remember when he's hanging up and he's in his thing and the collector's there, he's like, oh, you're never going to find her. Meanwhile, he's right behind her fucking at the wall. So I'm thinking, how did Arkin get down here? So you're trying to tell me that the collector brought him down there, did all this shit, hung him up, put the hooks in him, and the girl's behind him the whole time, and he can't find her? And Arkin is so freaking cocky saying, oh, you're never going to find her. Like she's in some amazing fucking hiding spot. Meanwhile, she's right there. And this brilliant fucking guy that's wired the whole house can't see her.
I think it's just to throw him off. He's just trying to like distract him, obviously, because he keeps turning around like he's going to look and go under the desk. Like, you'll never find her. Like,
right, but she just happened to be down there in that room when he brought the guy down there to tie him up. She was already there, I guess.
I can't remember the timeline with it, but it made sense. Like
it did. I think he told her to hide or something.
Yeah, I think she ran down there and hid there, and then he got knocked out and dragged and tied up down there.
Okay, well then cool. Okay.
So
something like
the guy in the box who's bait, really bait for who? If the two people are already tied up, who's he bait for? Just in case?
Larry?
Are we
Larry?
supposed to get the idea that they ran into him earlier in the movie?
They did, though, remember?
Yeah, that's the opening scene.
Which made no sense. Would you do that if you came home, Christian?
No, that was him. That was him getting taken. That was him getting taken. I'm talking about when we're introduced to him later, it's main guy that runs into him. So the bait didn't work because the other two guys are already strung up in the basement. Done.
Maybe
what was he there for?
I didn't quite understand why he would be bait because in the first scene, there's nobody in that box. It's just a box. So, yeah, it's like, why is he bait? Why didn't he just have an empty box?
Yeah, the problem is the bait idea doesn't really work. You assume they used him as bait to trap the Chase family because they are already trapped when Arkin shows up. But then in the sequel, Arkin's the bait, and he's just in the back of the rave and not used at all.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I something's up here because my recollection is this. In the opening scene, okay, the guy that there is somebody in the box because my complaint was going to be, it says there's the thing that says for the collection and there's that big box and there's a guy and his wife and all of a sudden the box moves.
Yeah, there's someone in the box.
So there is so he is the bait for the introduction of the film. So number one, if that's me and the box moves and my wife and I'm not opening that fucking box. First thing I'm doing is calling the fucking cops. But that's me, So there is bait in that case. So now in the next movie, or in the next instance, the guy that was kidnapped at the beginning, now he assumes that role. He is in the house as the bait, and he was probably the bait for the family who's now tied up. You know what I'm saying?
That's what he was, but...
Huh?
Sorry?
I know. I said that's literally what I just said, and Christian broke up, but I'm pretty sure he said the exact same thing. Yeah. That's literally what Brandon
I thought you said it didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense in the sense that it's like the way they show it. It's not like somebody's like, help me, like Lauren. The way they use Abby is almost like bait in part 2, the girl. She's like
Yeah.
literally bait. She's like almost working in cahoots, whereas this is just somebody in a box banging on. It's just not,
Yeah,
it's just
but
a little sloppy.
I don't think so, because the reason it's bait, if you put a box in a room for the collection, there's no guarantee somebody's going to open it. But if you know that somebody's inside, there's a greater chance of someone saying, what the fuck? Who's or what is in this box? I have to open it. It's more of a distraction to have that than to just have an empty box in the room. So that's why I feel
It's
like
true.
They're tied up, so it never happened. So if there was no gameplay to have them come and talk to the...
We didn't see it. We didn't see it.
That's what I meant.
So
that's what I said. Was there an earlier scene? And then does he just tell everybody that opens the box, hey, I'm bait? How about get me the fuck out of here?
He's only bait in that instance.
Yeah, but the whole point is the collector is in the house. So by the time this couple, even at the beginning, Larry and his wife are in the bedroom and they see the box, even if the box was empty, even if it was filled with mud flaps, Dave, they could just be like, all right, let's get the hell out of the house. They turn around, they walk, and the collector gets them. They don't need that bait. It just seems a little sloppy is all I'm saying.
It's fun for him. He's a sick fuck. That's his fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to a collected person. Some people I'm going to let live, and I'm going to use them as bait. I'm going to keep them in the box, and I'm going to get my jollies off putting one person in a box and having these other fools gather around, and then they're going to get fucked. I just think that's his own sick pleasure. So that doesn't bother me. In fact, that adds to it for me. I think that's cool. However, that fucking scene is... I'll never... My friend and I, my friend Scott, who I've been watching movies with since I was a kid, the two of us in the theater, and ever since I saw this, every time I watch this movie, to me, that is unintentional fucking hilarious comedy. When the guy gets out... What?
And he says, can I guess? Run, little girl, ah! And then he screams like that.
Oh, I'm talking about the beat guy. The fact that he pushes the guy back in the box. That's amazing. This guy is fucking in a box, fighting for his life, and he's trying to get out, and the guy gets panics, and he pushes him back in the box. You don't find that hysterical?
That is fucking funny.
Like, shut up.
Oh, my God. You don't find that funny, B? He pushes him back in the box.
Oh, sorry. I got distracted for a sec. Yeah, no, that is funny when he puts him back. It takes a lot of effort to put him back, too.
But why would you do that to some poor bastard?
You know what? You know why? You know why? Because at that point, the collector is not aware that Arkin is in the house still. That's why he puts him back. But yeah, it is funny. But I thought when Larry gets out later on and he sees a little girl, he's like, run, little girl, ah! And then they both scream at the same time. It's like, that to me was unintentional comedy.
I didn't realize that. There's one other scene that was very hysterical, unintentional comedy, and I could be wrong because I didn't rewind it to see, but to me it looks like the dog exploded. The guy took a dog and he threw it at the other guy, and the dog exploded.
Yeah, he shoots him. He shoots him with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Shotgun to the head.
Oh, he shot him too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting fact, that dog used to be in Guns N' Roses. Wasn't that was Buckethead, right?
Oh, he was...
Because they put the fire bucket on it.
Oh,
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 man.
Dave,
so
did you see the actor who plays the cat?
I don't want to talk about the cat. I
What?
can't believe that.
Tommy K. Tommy K is the name of the actor that played the cat.
Why would they do that? Why? See, that's what I don't want. Okay, here's the deal. At least they made up for it with an exploding dog. But I mean...
Arkin saved the cat. He saved the cat.
He did try. I'll give him credit for saving the cat, but why,
tape.
if you're making this movie, why show a cat getting cut in half and fucking blood on the wall and shit? See, I don't like
funny.
that part.
Oh, because
what
that was hilarious. You see a half a cat go, it's fucking funny.
I don't want to see a cat get... See, that was...
You should have saw the front half go down and go, meow.
If that would have happened to a dog, that would have been...
The dog got his head set up. Got a bucket end on his head. They got his head blown off. They tormented it. At least the cat was quick, and each half still has 4.5 lives.
It's like a worm.
I felt so bad for the cat. Even when it was stuck, I felt bad for him.
Yeah,
Like,
I felt bad.
Yeah,
for him
that
when it
was hard.
stuck. That
Yeah.
was brutal.
Yeah.
Then they picked it
jump
up
on the
and
sticky stuff, cat.
Yeah. See, I can't see that with cats. Now, if a dog would have got cut in half that way, everybody would have been up in arms about it. Oh, look, that was terrible. Why do that to a dog? Because it's a cat, nobody gives a shit. That's all I'm saying.
My daughter was very upset for the cat.
It was.
Yeah, so was I. I didn't like it, but it was funny.
See, I couldn't find humor in it. I just couldn't. Yeah. Now,
meow,
Benny.
Meow, this hurts. Meow.
When Benny killed a cat, it was funny. See, I'm not a complete pussy about it.
And he killed a dog too. Benny was an equal opportunity.
That was funny. See, that was done funny. In this movie, it's not unintentional funny to me, and it's not funny when I see it. Well, a dog exploding for no reason is funny because I didn't realize that they shot it. I just thought the dog blew up. I'm like, why did this happen?
What were you watching?
The original ending, the dog was gonna throw a lit match, but then the fire police showed up and said that doesn't work.
No. Yeah, the fire police.
The fire police.
But the kills are great. The boyfriend's kill, fucking tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mwah. Everything in it is just so brutal. Even when Arkin first discovers all the traps, and he puts the phone up to his ear. And
stabs him in the ear.
Oh my god!
Who has a landline?
Wire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then you can see the razor wire in the room, and like you just see when the lightning flashes, how you can like just barely see it, and then he like gets his cheek cut. Love that.
Man, the fish hooks, everything.
Oh, an eyelid.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they do everything. They pull teeth out, and it's like they gave you all the cringe. The only thing they didn't do is do the old slitteroonie of the back of the foot. Their Achilles. Oh, sorry. Shit, I just hit my mic. It's not an episode if I don't hit my mic stand.
Yep.
That's how you should end it. Good night.
Yeah. Right, yeah, that should be the we can never figure out how to end the show. That should be it.
Yeah.
Good night.
And God bless my poor head.
The roaches. Yeah. I wish we would have saw it. I want to see them going inside. It's a creative, fucking scary thing. You know what I mean? Burning them so they have nowhere to go. I mean, he cut them so they could go inside his body. I wish they would have showed us that. It seems like they teased us with it, and I'm not complaining.
Ask your father-in-law if you can burn roaches to get them angry too. I want to know if that's a thing.
Get them angry. He wasn't trying to get them angry.
Angry roaches.
Survival mode. They have nowhere else to go. They're gonna burn in this jar.
Oh, you think they're happy? They're angry when that's happening.
Well, of course they're angry. This guy was smoking a roach.
Eat the roach. Eat it.
You're right, Dave. They should have shown that. They should have showed it crawling into the skin.
Yeah, they did in Sinister 2, actually.
Mm-hmm.
On the
move?
Yeah, good. Sinister 2 is underrated. Watch.
Didn't they do a kill like that in Sleepaway Camp 4 with Big Pussy from The Sopranos with the rats?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they're just camping out in there for the rest of the fucking show. They're at sleepaway camp within his digestive tract. Squeak, squeak.
Unbelievable.
The caliber. I even am ashamed that I cracked that joke. Squeak, squeak.
You know what else was funny? There was an electrocution, and it was actually funny because there was the guy in there. That was fucking hysterical.
I
the guy
love that setup. That was so good. They're so ready. They're so ready. Him and the little girl. They're like, all right, we're going to do this. Yeah. And then her face when she realizes that it's some other guy.
It was great.
Yeah.
Would have been better if Arkin yelled at him, "What are you doing out of your box? I just put you back in your box."
See, I got
confused with that
a few
little
times.
like we knew he was getting electrocuted, but they had to like digitally put in those little electric bolts, I think, to show it.
Of course. You got to. It's not as bad as back in the days of wrestling. Oh, the Mountie. And you're familiar with the Mountie, Christian. There used to be a wrestler called the Mountie.
Look at that face that he
anything wrestling, not familiar with.
You never knew about the Mountie?
I never knew. The only thing I know is like Hulk Hogan, a guy called the Iron Sheik.
I remember the Mountie.
And Macho
Bret
Man.
Hart. What about Bret Hart, Canada's hero?
I know the name. I don't know an idea.
You don't know Bret Hart?
Come on.
I mean,
Anyway.
I didn't watch wrestling.
I don't watch wrestling either, but everyone knows Bret Hart. We
Oh,
live
we
in
could
Oshawa.
go into sports and the amount of players that people are like, yeah, you know, so I'm like, no. Like, just general knowledge, I should know these names. No clue. No
What,
clue
do you live in a
whatsoever.
cave in Oshawa?
No, I just don't care. Like Dave says about like all the commercials that or whatever. I don't watch this. I don't watch. For whatever reason, like just wrestling and sports for the most part, just no knowledge of or interest in.
That's
Just
okay.
gone.
Okay, well, there used to be a
no.
wrestler called. Okay, there used to be a wrestler called the Mountie, right? And he was playing a Mountie, obviously, and he had a baton, like a shock thing.
Christian's face when you said, and he's playing a Mountie, of course. Get the fuck on with this shit.
All right. Do you know those shock things, the fucking batons that they shock them with, the Mounties? So he carried this thing around. So anytime on wrestling, when he would shock somebody, they would play this fucking thing over the speakers in the arena. It was like a like an electric. It wasn't. So that's what I was thinking of when you were talking about the noises they were playing for the electrocution. Can you believe they did that in wrestling? They fucking. I gotta see him, the Mountie. I am the Mountie.
Because no one else would have known what was going on unless they had those sound effects. The fans.
Basically, yeah, they're playing for kids, and just so you know, this is an electrocution. We're gonna play the fucking Frankenstein noise. Okay. Anyway, what else is funny? No, that fake out with the cop. I wish they would have done that a little bit better. He should have had something shiny in his hand, so it looks like it would be believable that he thought that was the killer, because he had a knife in his hand, right? Then you see the cop rescuing the girl. He should have had his gun out or something. It's just too. It was a little bit of a cheat for me.
Do you always take your gun out to rescue little girls?
Of course not.
I'm gonna rescue this girl. Let me get my gun out. So I can point it at the back of her head as I rescue her. I know what you're
Get a
saying.
move on.
Yeah, let's move it, bitch.
It would have been believable more, I think, if there would have been a reason for him to think that. That's all. You know, because usually when you see that in movies and there's like an object in the hand, that's the giveaway. You know what I mean? Oh, I thought that this was the killer because he had dark on and this and that, and there was he had something that flashy in his hand.
It would have been better if this took place in Canada and it was a Mountie and it shocked the girl.
Which Mounties don't do. I don't even know where the cattle prod thing came from.
It is a cattle prod. You're right. Boy, do they have guns? Do they carry guns, firearms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we? The Keystone Cops in the fucking UK?
Even the horses carry guns.
You sounded like fucking B. Arthur. Yes.
B. Arthur?
No.
Rose.
Rose Clanahan. I'm sorry. No. Blanche. That's what you sounded like. Yeah.
Only on this show will you get a Golden Girls reference.
Damn straight. That'd be good. We should get the Golden Girls in our movie
Podcast?
somehow. Yeah. No, yeah, we're called Betty White. Yeah.
Betty White's the only one that can do it. Everybody else would be skeletons.
That's pretty mean.
How about the
But
little
it would
girl
make
from
for
the
a good
nanny in
sitcom.
this?
Imagine that. They bring it back.
What?
The Golden Girls. It's just B. Arthur with a bunch of mummified corpses around.
Has there been a
Betty
porn
White.
version called the Golden Shower Girls? Like, there's gotta be, right?
I'm sure there is.
There's gotta be. Like,
If not, it's
Google
gonna be
it
in our.
and see.
It'll be in my movie.
I kind of want to
Our movie.
Google it, but I don't want to see the results.
Stanley, you
There's
pissing
a
on me again?
Whole
Thank
variety
you for
of results.
pissing on me.
P. Arthur?
No. We'll
P.
put it in
Arthur.
his full head.
P. Arthur.
P. Arthur?
P. Arthur. Oh, the Golden Shower Girls. That's the best. That was fantastic.
That would be crazy. That could be in our movie. And you know what we can do? We can be recording the podcast in the beginning, and I can go pee into the fucking thing in the laundry room, and the Golden Girls are in there, and it's the Golden Shower Girls.
And that song
We
comes
gotta
on. What was
tie it
that?
back
The
to the-
theme song? You know it, Dave, obviously. Not take
Thank
a
you for
look
being
at
a
me
friend,
now.
of course.
Thank you for being a friend. What would take a look at me now? Phil Collins came into my head. Thank you for being a friend. Yeah.
Take a
Against
look
all odds. He's doing against all odds.
Yeah.
The Golden Girls. Now that would be funny. Play the Golden Girls intro, lower the sound, and play Phil Collins instead. Oh, I want to try it.
How about if it's Phil Collins peeing on them?
We're off the fucking rails.
Yeah, we are off the rails. I mentioned the little girl from The Nanny, all grown up in this.
Oh yeah.
All grown up.
The
The
nanny
older
with,
sister,
what's her,
Jill.
with that,
her.
Ann?
Yeah. What's
You
that?
know what she reminds me of? What's her name? Darcy the Mail Girl, like a younger version of her. That's what I kept thinking about when I saw her.
I could
No?
see it a little. Or,
Just a little bit. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. Just reminded me of her a little
yeah,
bit.
they're
She
both
was
fe-
in,
they're both female.
She was in California. Female. No, she was in Californication too.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
That's
had
a
a
good
career.
Yeah.
She's done a lot.
You know what she wasn't in? The Collection.
You didn't make it.
Which we got to get to. Who the fuck did? Jesus Christ.
No, but I like that. Like, even she's not even trustworthy of Arkin. She's like freaking out, and he can't. This is like the theme of the movie. Arkin can't seem to get anyone to trust him initially. Everyone freaks out and gets themselves killed.
Because he broke into their house. They don't know. They don't really know who. They just know he's not supposed to be here either. Oh, you played
Never
tea with my
questioned
daughter earlier? No problem. Save the day. No, they're like freaked
Dude,
out.
that
He
scene.
broke into
Ooh,
the house.
That scene. Yeah.
I had that scene, and he didn't say anything about the spider. I can't believe it. If I was me, and I was playing tea innocently with this girl for fun because she asked me to, you could tell when the father looks at her, being a father of a girl, there's a little bit of a fucking, well, what are you doing hanging out with my little girl this age? And, there's something underlying there. We know it's innocent. He misses his own daughter. He's just being a nice guy. Whatever. But, so that's already been cast on him. And then the spider crawls in the bear. How the fuck do you not say something if you're Arkin?
I'm glad Arkin
didn't.
didn't. If that was my room, I'm glad Arkin wouldn't have said anything because I wouldn't have been able to sleep if I had known there was a spider loose in my room. I'd be like, just don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Don't say anything. What if that?
You know how many
bites the
times we
kid?
see one crawling up the white wall behind you? We don't say a thing.
Yeah.
There's one right now.
I'm not afraid of any spider in New York, but that was a poisonous spider.
What about Spider Rico?
Is that another wrestler?
Rocky?
Rocky, you dumb shit.
Spider Rico, fight one. He's supposed to be the fucking king of the Rocky fans. He doesn't know Spider Rico.
Why am I king of the Rocky fan? I never said
Because you
that.
love every movie.
You're Mr. Harry Potter. What's your favorite franchise? Harry fucking Potter.
Have you said that, Dave?
I said it's after Star Wars. It probably is the best franchise. Yeah.
All right. I can respect
See?
that.
Thank. Fucking great. Have you guys watched it? Watch Harry Potter. Watch every fucking movie.
I've seen them all. I do enjoy them.
I've seen them all.
Christian,
Do a marathon.
Christian, should we spin off and start our own podcast? How about Beyond the Screen 2? We'll get Omar Epps as our third. Omar Epps.
Omar Epps.
Or was it Cuba Gooding? Not Cuba Gooding. What was the actor at the beginning?
Of what?
What?
Scream 2.
Omar Epps.
Oh.
It is Omar Epps. That's why I said Beyond the Screen 2. He'll be our third host.
Oh my
I got
God.
you.
Oh, God. All right.
It's Tyra Banks.
That could have been any movie, any sequel.
I'm just gonna Gordon myself.
Yeah, I think you should.
Like what the hell?
Gordon, that shirt.
Well, I do realize it's like I might as well just like have it. Like I gotta button it right up to the top.
I like that shirt.
I do too. I just like
too.
teasing him about it. Is there any way you could put your head inside it before you button it up?
He gets one haircut in like 12 months, and now he's all Mr. like Juki.
Mr. Dookie?
Juki? What you say?
Mr. Juki Dookie.
What? A combination of Jew and Dookie?
No, I meant to say GQ, and it came out GQ.
Mr. GQ. That could be in our movie too. You're looking all GQ. Look at me. I'm looking at all
That was like-
GQ.
it was just
Is it
me.
real fancy with a yarmulke?
Yeah,
That's
on the
your
cover.
wrestling name.
Yeah.
I meant GQ, and I don't know what happened. Holy shit!
He always has these racist jokes that he doesn't mean. What'd you say the one time? So you said GQ. What was the other one that you said?
Well, I don't want to say it again because I did tongue in cheek, but it didn't come out cheek.
Tongue in cheek, he said.
Yeah, but I didn't mean it. Like it's just.
I know, obviously.
I guess subconsciously, I'm just a horrible racist. Who knew? Yeah.
Maybe they'll come at us. I want to go on Bloody Disgusting. Is anybody on Bloody Disgusting Jewish or Chinese? Please come at me.
That's like a change my mind. Fight me.
You're right. Come at me,
I like the collection better than the collector. Fight me. Eh?
There you go.
That shirt looks good on you. Change my mind.
Oh, that prick.
Okay, here's an issue. Here is the issue. Why they make a big production. The guy tells him, "Oh my God," he goes, no one is gonna escape this house alive. He goes, You're not one of the collected. He only collects certain people. You guys are all dead. You got to get out." And then at the end of the day, because it's like he picks certain people to be the collected. Why the fuck does Arkin deserve to be the collected?
Well, because he just gave him a run for its money.
Yeah.
He literally went the distance.
Arkin belongs in the collection. Yeah. Are you confusing part 2 also? Like, are you talking about the kid who says...
No. Listen to me. The guy in the box when he gets let out, the collected guy.
The guy in the box.
I'm on the collected. And he tells him, nobody in this house is going to escape alive. I'm the collected. The rest of you are going to get killed. So, but I guess that you could say he earned his respect, and that's why he gets to be collected.
He upgraded.
Yeah, a better adversary, somebody worth having.
Okay, that's fair. All right. There you go. It's not a complaint. Again, when I give my rating, it's not a bad rating at all. I just had a few questions. More so with the next one.
No, the question is, why would Larry be collected? What kind of fight did Larry
he did
put
nothing.
At his
he was a dummy.
Exactly.
He got caught. Unless we didn't see, like, there could be a prequel.
The collected Larry story.
Yeah. Larry's story.
Larry.
Oh, man. I don't know. Does anyone have anything else? Because I think I read all my notes here.
I got nothing.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm surprised we talked about it this long. And not in a bad way. I find it a very straightforward but fun and effective little home invasion slasher-esque. Like, it's a slasher, I guess, in the sense of, like, the fact that it is one person stalking. Stalking.
Yes. Look who's stalking, too. On the move.
It's Larry.
Larry Fessenden?
Yeah, Larry Fessenden.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay, anyway, Holly, 1 to 10.
I'm giving this an 8. Especially watching them back to back now. It had a lot of tension that I liked. I loved the again when the boyfriend and the daughter were there, like the dance that they do. It's like they're so close, like they're making out, like his ankle brushes against a wire, like she almost steps on something. It's so tense, and yeah, it's fun. I love Saw as well. And so I love seeing all these traps, and yeah, it's fun. Just kind of turn your brain off when it comes to the traps, and it's a fun ride.
Awesome. I agree with the Saw stuff. This one, not so much the second. It's filmed a lot like Saw, like the color palette, the friggin' the quick cuts, and the stuff they do. It's very much like the Saw movies. You can tell that it came from them. And my rating is the same, 8 out of 10. So there you go. All the I wasn't nitpicking, but it's still great regardless.
I'm the same, 8 out of 10, actually.
Wow. Really?
Wow. Yeah.
What are you giving the second one? 16 out of 10?
No. No.
Guys, like, oh, the second one's so much better.
I didn't say this. Did I ever utter those words?
No, you didn't say those words. But for comedic effect, it's better.
Of course. For comedic, we take everything to extreme. What is your rating? Like anybody?
I give it an 8.5 out of 10, and my dad gives it a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he have to turn away with the ambulance
All right.
scene?
What's that? Yeah, he saw it in the back. I saw you broke up. I heard something with the ambulance.
Unreal.
Oh wow, that's freaky too.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that. Like I'm
Yeah.
driving home. I'm like, oh my god, Mom, the collector got dead.
I was gonna make the joke earlier, and I'm like, maybe it's too soon. But 30 minutes later, no problem.
Not too soon. It's been almost 10 years. No, it's been longer than 10 years. Math is not our strong suit.
No, or memory for that
I'm a
matter.
fucking math teacher, and I'm like, that was like almost 10 years ago, even though it was almost 13 years ago.
Man, oh,
Yeah.
man.
All right.
I totally lost my train of thought.
No?
Are
The
we
collection.
doing the collection?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I was just looking up the third one that got canceled, and not only was the girl from this one supposed to be in it again, but you know what character is listed in the credits for the third one? Cindy. Wasn't that the daughter's name? They were going to bring Arkin's daughter back for the third one.
Are you serious? No, they were going to
Swear.
do what they should
They
do.
never. Okay.
Yeah.
Here. Well, let's get into it. And the nitpick about the daughter. First, there's like one scene in a hospital that, okay, if they either wedge the daughter in there or mention her. They don't do either. I still didn't care. The fact that
It's stupid. He tells his wife, you got to go to your mother. You got to get out of here.
Okay.
Take Cindy with you. Put that extra line in there. Take Cindy with you.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And then they would shut you fucking guys up about the whole daughter.
Well, you're a parent. If this was you, wouldn't that be the first question out of your mouth? First of all, the wife, last time you talked to her, she was busting your fucking balls. I don't even know if they're married or not, okay? She's up his ass, this and giving him a hard time. He wakes up from a coma. Wouldn't the first thing you say, where's Francesca? Where's my daughter? She's not even mentioned. Get the fuck out of here. It would have been so easy.
It's a weird thing. I don't know why they didn't do it. It is weird. Does it affect my overall rating? Absolutely not. But it is weird. But let's maybe introduce it first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
The Collection, 2012. A man who escapes from the vicious grips of a serial killer known as the Collector is then forced to help rescue an innocent girl from the killer's booby trap lair. That's what I said.
Booby trap?
I know you did. Booby trap. Yes.
Booby trap.
It's not funny.
That's what I said.
We get Shooter McGavin in this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who that cat is? Okay.
That's who
all
that
right.
cat is. Why is everyone a cat to you? No cats in this one.
Yeah, I
Look.
totally saw this, not knowing that it was a sequel, because just that description, it doesn't say facing off again with the Collector or anything. And then the beginning, you have I thought we were just thrown into this, it was just we're just going from 0 to 60. And then you don't get that explanation with the daughter. So there was never any part where I was like, did I miss something?
Perfect.
It was
from a
just
sequel standpoint, then you can almost say, great. But not from a sequel, from a movie standpoint, from a sequel standpoint, yeah, now you've got some questions that I can see having some issues with. Like, why couldn't they make a mention of the daughter? I get it. I thought of it after the scene happened. I said, hey, they didn't even mention her. That's kind of odd.
It's a tiny nitpick for a film that is an hour and 15 minutes long. It has zero character development. I do not care about any of these characters like I did the family and Arkin in part 1. And it just, I don't know. It just, the traps feel so much more forced and so much more ridiculous. And they're even ripping off their own movies. I mean, the whole rave scene with the friend, with Misty, is the Saw 5 trap. It's Strom, except it's coming down this way versus coming this way. I mean, it's literally ripping off Saw traps at this point.
It's cool, though. I don't care about that. That's cool.
I do,
ya.
because I see it. I'm like, oh, this is Saw 5, except nobody's like there's no Klauser music playing over it.
But it's...
Again, it's the problem I had with it is, okay, it's CG. You get some massive CG gore at the beginning, especially when in that rave sequence. But put that aside, knowing it's a sign of the times. Did Dave freeze on us now? Oh no,
no, he's just bored.
No. No, I looked at my notes.
So
I have my questions.
Talk about, like, I mean, I'm surprised nobody said it yet. You guys nitpick, like, oh my God, how did he have so much time to set up the house? How did he have time to set up this secret rave? And did he have to say nevermore to get in there to set it up?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean,
we're asked to excuse a lot. And that, again, that's not my complaint. That's horror movie stuff. Yes, it doesn't make the most sense, no, but I'm not going to think too deep about it. What I am going to think about is everything that happens in part 1. How come this guy is in part 2 and he hasn't been arrested? They literally said that his address is called fucking, or his company's called whatever, the Shining fucking Roach Killers, whatever, and this is his address. How come they know that this guy he was hired? So anybody can look in their fucking phone book or whatever the hell they want to do and call this guy and find a location for a bug killer. How is he not arrested? They knew exactly where they had to go. They set it up at the end of the movie. He should be arrested. He should be gone. What the hell happened, again, with the daughter? No mention of the daughter or any of that stuff between 1 and 2. Why is the wife still alive? We know that she never paid these loan sharks this big money that they were completely sweating, which was the entire basis of part 1, is getting this money to these people on time. They're bad people. Something bad's going to happen to me. Well, obviously, she never got the fucking money. How come she doesn't have a scar on her? It's not even mentioned when he wakes up. Hey, did you get money to those people on time? Nothing. Not a fucking word is said. It's just, that's what I don't like. They blow it off. Yeah. And then the biggest problem of them all, why the fuck would this guy have all these traps set up in his own fucking house? He has the people trapped already. They're chained to walls. Number one, he doesn't need them. The people are already there. If you want to set up one trap in case someone infiltrates your place like Jigsaw did, fine. But why would your lair have a fucking million traps in it when nobody's going to be in there? It's all your victims that are already.
Did it have a million traps, or did it just have rooms that he was?
Oh my God!
There were a lot of traps, but Abby made the comment one time that he's testing me again. So I thought of it as, if he has multiple people like Abby around there, and if they do happen to escape their room that they're in, then they're not getting out. If they're running, then they're just going to get caught in one of his traps.
I think that's it, because you see a lot. Okay. They even make a point of showing like a lot of collection boxes, meaning he's collected a lot of people, and a lot of them were alive there. I mean, you see the guy
they had better people under the stairs than the people under the stairs. Like, these are the people. This is what the people under the stairs should have looked like.
Yeah, like all the people he has drugged and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that okay. I can live with that. Thank you, Holly. Okay, I can live with that.
You know what? They could have upped this and made Arkin even more badass if they had just acknowledged that the wife and daughter were killed as a result of him
he
not
had nothing
getting
to live
time.
for, like, he has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So you're right. They could have actually made a character arc, and not have the wife, because there was no emotional attachment other than maybe the questions answered as to why the fuck did you get the money, whatever. Just say your wife and daughter, your wife's dead, your daughter's missing. We don't know what's happened with her. They could have left it at that, and him just being like, what the fuck? And then being thrown into the situation. It gives him nothing to have to go home for. He could still be scared about going in initially, but then realize that, well, he's got nothing to go back to, so why not?
And if they did say, like, your wife is dead, your child's missing, that would have given him
incentive
more
to go
reason.
In.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been like, I don't want to be, because that was kind of shitty too, to be like, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'm not going in, and then they force him. This would give him a reason to want to go to look for his daughter.
And his daughter's in there, and he finds her, and Hoffman carries her out and takes credit for everything.
You were supposed to be the hero! The hero!
That's Christian's best impression. Is his Shaw. I love Christian Shaw.
They would do a remake.
And what about the people that are tied up? They're chained to the wall, right? Yet when everybody walks in, they're able to fucking touch everybody that walks in the house. If you're Arkin, if you're the collector, why would you make it so they can reach you and attack you? Everybody comes out at once, like fucking, what's that? Like House of a Thousand Corpses in the end, when all these people are coming in. Why would you even have them like that if they're collected? I
can't argue against anything you're saying. Like, it is a bit stupid. but it's fun. It's still I had fun with it. It's like going through like an escape room, like a Saw movie. But yeah, the reasoning behind it is a little silly. But I think Holly at least gives some sense of reason. Like maybe it's a testing zone for his traps and to get people out there. And like she's one of the key. Like she says, oh, he's testing again, and like we're gonna die, and she's freaked out, whatever. But obviously, tons of other people have done it too. It's the only thing I could think of that will help me make sense of it. But I'm not like you're right. It's silly. It is silly.
Yeah, it is.
It's silly.
There's the silly things here.
What's the deal with Elena with her family? Like, I mean, I know the whole setup at the beginning. Her mother died, and her father's like taking custody. What does her father do? Why did they set it up like he's like a gangster, and then this Lucello character's been looking after her? Like, what is this? Like, it seems goofy.
Well,
it seems fucking.
I think he was just
forced.
rich. Just rich.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh. Everybody okay? It seems like it got quiet. Or did I freeze? Yep, I did. You guys still there?
And he had a mercenary.
What second there?
Yeah, Lucello, the one from Oz.
Yeah. He was the one that saved her from the car fire. So that I get, but
right.
It's weird to it's weird to have the setup of just like no explanation. Like he's rich and he has like these private security or whatever with him all the time. So yeah, it's weird, but I don't know. It was just an odd addition to what was going on.
And the collector is rich himself. You know how rich he would have to be to have that I mean, Jigsaw, we've said he'd have to be rich too, but he had a really good job. This guy was a fucking bug killer. He's the organ man, and he's fucking loaded. He has this, he has a club, he has those big water tanks in his base. It's like going to a fucking museum.
No, but it turns out he's a top entomologist. Don't forget the ending of this.
That's true, he is a bug guy. He's a
bug guy.
He raises him and then he kills him. What an ass.
You know what really bugs me? This guy. That should have been the last line.
The thing of having her have a hearing loss and doing absolutely nothing with that as a plot device is what is bizarre about that aspect.
She heard every word, even after she lost her shoddy hearing aid. Your company makes shoddy hearing aids. It fell out of her.
The wire showed.
Yeah, it fell out of her ear.
It's a behind the ear hearing aid. It sits behind the ear in the. Oh, sorry, my expert opinion. No, just so I don't offend Dave. But it sits behind the hearing aid, and the wire goes in here. It's kind of like an earbud system where
it's a Canadian hearing aid. It goes behind the ear in case somebody's behind you talking to you.
It looked like a speaker wire was soldered to the side of her fucking temple. It didn't look like a hearing aid looks. That's all I'm saying. It was just like a wire hanging. I'm like, what the fuck? I've seen plenty of hearing aids in my day. I've never looked and seen somebody from this side where their ear is showing and seen a wire hanging the way hers was. It was just, and I didn't notice it until the girl pointed it out.
Yeah, they could have done something. They could have done a Carlos kill with her.
Yeah, they should have played on that ear.
They should have. Yeah, they
should have not done a Carlos kill on her.
No, I'm not saying Carlos kill, but they could have done something with it where he torments her based on her fucking hearing.
Well, it falls down. That's when I saw it was the brand that I work for, and I'm like, holy shit, that's hilarious. Can we use it as a commercial? I doubt it. Hey, look, the collection. Massacre in the competition. Yeah, but it falls down. That's where I saw the brand name. But where I'm going with it is they did nothing. Again, I think she literally goes boop, boop, puts it back on, done. Like they could have been so much more. Like what about a sequence if she was so reliant on it? Yes, what a common misconception would be that you totally can't hear a thing when you don't have it. But that's where you play around with reality and film reality and whatnot, and take it off, and then she's immersed in silence. They have nothing like that.
Or some hearing loss. Or some hearing.
Yeah.
They don't
where
really
she can't like hear somebody behind her or something.
Yeah.
But the only cool thing about that is we're so used to it being used as a plot device that you just expect it. So I kind of respect it for not using it as a plot device. But it's just odd now that they haven't, because you wouldn't expect that in this type of movie. You'd figure that it's...
Look at that
I'm
face,
freezing,
Dave.
aren't I? I'm freezing.
Yeah.
But on
With
my
the
end,
funniest faces.
on my end, everything will be A-okay.
It will. That's why I always shut up and wait for it to finish.
Yeah, I know nothing. I
Usually
know
works
you're
out.
still recording, but the faces that you freeze with, I want Dave to see them.
Yeah, they're great.
So again, I don't know what you heard or anything. I'm just saying it's interesting that they didn't use it as a plot device. So I almost have to give it a bit of credit for that. It's just odd in a movie like this that it wasn't used.
I do love the one thing I do like about this is Arkin saves this movie. He goes toe to toe with the Collector. I like the fact that the cuts on his arms are a roadmap leading back to. That was really cool.
Yeah,
really well done.
Yeah.
I like how it pulled right up in front. It should have been a little bit off, where they were like they had to do a little walking to find the place. But he was like military. Like I'm surprised they didn't pull up and it said Collector lives here.
Right.
Neon lights. That cattle prompt sound that you're like.
Yeah, the Mountie and the Mountie comes.
The Mountie.
Did you see the name of the hotel?
Argento.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was cool.
Very cool.
Hotel Argento.
Yep.
You didn't see that?
Hotel Argento. And then
Just a huge
later
fucking
on
sign
in the
on top
movie,
of it.
I didn't.
and it was on the door. And it was on the door when they were opening it when they first went there.
Serial killer can't be here at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Totally.
And on one door it said "fuck Fulci." I don't know if you saw that. Okay.
No, the Collector is not here. Try the Hotel Bava. Christian's losing his shit. I didn't even think it was that funny. I just like it.
The ones that you don't find as funny are the ones that I think are hilarious.
Yeah, and I'm not laughing at the jokes. I'm more laughing at your reaction. Like, just fucking lose your shit.
I'll tell you. Funny. The funniest part of this movie is when that crazy wackadoo girl freaking steps on that thing and she gets Iron Maidened and her shoes fell off.
Shoes didn't fall off. Yes.
That was great. Her shoes fell off.
I'm pretty sure we love when people's shoes fall off of this show. Just, it's a Jerky Boy. You know the Jerky Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a Saul Rosenbergism.
Yep.
She was-
We should do that on every. That should be in our movie too. Every time someone's shoes fell off in a movie.
His shoes fall
Her,
off.
her character was creepy, and again, it's such a short film that they don't really get to do enough with her. Because the first time you see her, she's all doll-like and it's creepy. And that's the only time I noticed the music. It sounded like Nightmare on Elm Street music when you're with Abby. And but again, it's very quick. You know, even Elena says, "Oh, you can't trust her." Like, why is she jumping to this conclusion so quickly?
I feel like they gave it the Rocky IV that we were talking about earlier. Although you love Rocky IV, I think what they did is they stripped it down to get to the good stuff and keep it boom, 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 boom. And that's why I said it's. Both my daughter and I enjoyed it more than the first one. I feel like my ratings are going to be. Well, my rating is identical. It's just the fact is it's just enjoyable. From start to finish, we're just like, this is a hell of a lot of fun. And the first one, I think, was scarier and more effective from that standpoint, but this was just more fun to watch. And it felt like you were watching more of an offshoot of Saw, in a sense. Like, again, like the CG gore, they used it throughout, but they still had enough practical, I think, to keep you grounded, where it's like it didn't go full CG. Like, you know, they did it with some of the rotor blades, but then they would intercut some practical in there as well. Like when she gets Iron Maiden and her shoes fall off, Dave, I think that you just see this big shot of blood just shooting, like just spraying at her from inside the machine. It's
great.
I
and
love
the end
that.
credits are great because they end up reliving everybody's death in the movie and then freezing it on the worst part, like on purpose, and then putting their name, starring.
Yeah.
Like when that one person's head got crushed. And it's totally crushed down to a pulp, starring. And then her credit comes on at that point. I thought that was hilarious.
And I liked her too, and I liked the crazy girl, you know, that wackadoo fucking girl. And I think that they had more charisma than the girl that was our lead. Something about her delivery, and I don't know. I don't know. She just didn't grab me.
Bloodthirsty free, Blood Bastards, the one, the vampire one. She's the main.
Blood-sucking bastards. Get it right.
That's her. I guess she was fine in that one. I don't know. I thought she was a little bland.
Yeah, I did too. And then when I hesitate to call her like a final girl. I mean, she was cool like at the end when she's, doing all that stuff to save Arkin, but she just didn't have that, like, I don't know, some like charisma that like kept me rooting for her. It was only
she broke a fish tank.
It was only when it was when she was saving Arkin. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, and it's because I wanted him to live. It wasn't rooting for her.
Right. Yep.
Exactly.
That was the best thing she did the whole movie. It was great. Yeah.
Guys are speaking the truth. Now, Dave, can you ask again your father? Was she able to touch that door, or would it have been steamy hot? Because my daughter's like, she can't touch that door because the fire was all encompassed. I'm like, you know what? Let me ask Dave. And then Dave, you relay that in, like, ask the fire police if you could touch that door.
The chief of the fire police.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that we need cliffhangers on here that need to be resolved. Yeah,
he's retired.
Fire has
changed a lot in the last 20 years.
A lot of new technology with that fire.
Yeah.
It's so much hotter than I remember.
No, you can play with matches. It doesn't lead to any fires. Play with matches, kids. It's fine.
Matches and gasoline? Yeah.
Well, they call it a book of matches. I never read one.
Why do they call it a candelabra? Nobody's singing. I don't know. That was a B joke, but it came from me.
I had some cringe moments on this film. First of all, the tarantulas.
All going in the same place.
Yeah, that just reminded me of Chopping Mall.
That's a Fulciism too, though.
Yeah, that's a Fulciism, but it reminded me of Chopping Mall when she's hiding in the pet store, and the tarantulas fall while the bot's looking for her. She's hiding underneath. Kelly Maloney.
Follow the spiders. The spiders. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Of course. Yes. Follow the spiders. Harry Potter.
Christian's look of disappointment.
Nice.
It's okay.
Sorry, watch them all in order. Do a marathon like a Saw thing. One a day for the next 8 days.
What did he miss? What did he not say? Sorry.
I've seen them all. Harry Potter.
I was on mute.
Back.
What happened?
No, it was a Harry Potter thing.
Harry Potter.
But did your dad keep shooting ratings? I said 8.5, not 9. 8.5. What's going on?
There's a lot going on here.
Holy cow. All right. Here's what's great, and then I have nothing else to say. The part when he drops down from the ceiling, they do the kill like in Funhouse when the hook comes down and he gets that guy and pulls him up, and then he comes down and slaughters everybody at once. That's a fucking badass scene. There's some good kills there. The thing with the arm being broken and having to escape. And then
that is the most cringy.
Dude, that's the other cringe moment that I didn't mention. The spiders and the arm break. Brutal.
But as far as that arm goes, there's a problem with it because all of a sudden, this guy with a broken fucking arm is able to push and fucking knock the guy down the fucking chute at the end of the movie, The Collector. It makes no sense, but whatever.
He's using his good arm.
Michael Myers drove him over a new arm.
Fair enough.
Got him a prostheses. That trap where the girl gets taken, that Paz character, the female team member, and she gets sucked up, and I felt like it was kind of like, whee!
Yes.
She's like sliding, like it's like a
down
mile.
the hallway.
Reminded me of the flat guy from Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah.
Like I almost expected her to go into like a little tiny chute.
Just need like a slide whistle to go with her. Just.
The more you guys talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like I can't disagree with any of this shit. But it's fun. Like I said, the first one's scarier and more effective in that way. This is just a fun ride. But I agree. This could have been elevated by just paying a little bit more attention to some script details, as we already mentioned with the wife and daughter, and it could have set up for a potential sequel with the daughter because now with her coming back, if that was the plan for the third, it's weird because they ignored her. So why not? Anyway. I'm freezing again. I know I am. I know I am.
Again.
Yeah, I was about to take a picture.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I said in chat. And I
you
knew it
all.
was going to happen. I said,
Except for you all.
tomorrow, I said, I'm going to ask the questions, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I didn't think about that. And that's, in essence, it's what you're saying. It's one of those instances where I know when I'm watching a movie, I'm going to question things, and because you say it, you go, oh, yeah, sometimes I don't see what Dave sees. You said that to me a few times. Like, it's just one of those things. Sometimes they pop up, and I'm like, well, but in this case, we all saw it, but you didn't. But it's okay. It's,
I saw
it's
something
good.
even in the club scene when Elena's in the back and her boyfriend walks by her and he trips the trap that kills him and that girl standing next to him. She goes back out to her friend who gets trapped in the cage, and there's still people alive in the back. And then when she comes back, everyone's dead, and the one girl sitting there with her throat slit. What happened? Like, it was like...
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
It was very shoddy the way that was done. It looked cool. The throat slit looked cool, but what happened? Like, she walked back. There were 5 people alive. She walked back. The 5 people were dead. Arkin's standing in the back of the room trying to escape. That's when he first leaves her.
I don't know.
I guess you assume the collector came through.
Yeah.
But then
another
again, there's a lot
trap
left up.
that we don't see.
Yeah.
There's so much left up. Like, yeah, he focuses in on her, but again, he has Arkin as bait in a random room that she ends up seeing, but he focuses in on her because she punches a guy in the face, her boyfriend. And she's one tough. But it just seems weird. Is he ordering a pizza?
That's my thought. Yep. Surprised he's not in the shower.
Cheese! Extra anchovy!
Oh, somebody had mentioned Hellraiser Judgment earlier, and I feel like the inside of the hotel reminded me a lot of that aesthetic.
Interesting, because Dave brought it
Wow.
up.
Yeah.
I've only seen it once, but maybe you're right. Yeah.
And I felt like the club massacre was like Hellraiser 3.
Yeah. That's probably the only other scene like that has like a mass execution within like a nightclub.
I do like it. It's so ridiculous,
awesome.
But it's freaking awesome. But
Yeah.
then when they show the bodies from overhead, you're like, get the fuck out of here. Literally, that's the only reaction you have. Like, there's like 8,000 bodies. Here's a master serial killer who they're talking about is killing families, young, old, women, children, and he's like low key. And then he's killing this huge rave with like 800 people there. And it's just like...
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. When I was watching this, my husband was like kind of in the room, and he saw the club scene. He walked to the kitchen. He came back. He was like, weren't these people alive? I was like, yeah, they're all dead. He just walked away. He's like, I can't.
Is he not into horror?
No, he's not.
I can't.
Amazing. Yeah, it's like a ghost ship beginning. It's a ghost ship.
Yeah.
Actually, though, I don't hate ghost ship. A lot of people do, but a lot of people, I've heard them say the beginning is great. They have that group massacre, and the rest of the movie is shitty. I saw it for the first time whenever we did the one with 22 shots for whatever year it was, and I actually liked it more than I thought I was gonna. And it's kind of the same thing for me here. The intro, the massacre, I think is the best part of the movie. I really enjoyed it, and the rest of the movie is just fine. But I don't know. Great beginning. Ah, man, fuck. And the crushed head. You're right. I don't care that it was a Saw 5 thing. This is different. They're all getting crushed at once, and it's kind of an emotional scene. The girl's there.
It is, yeah. Like, but I can assume like best friends, and there's no way out. You know what's about to happen.
And the brother, at least they set them up a little bit. Like, she's like helping her brother like get advice because he clearly likes Elena, and but then he's in the club saying nice shoes to everyone.
Hilarious. Well, it's funny.
And then everyone's dead in 2 seconds. It's like, what? Like the tiny bit of character development you did, and that they're all dead. And now you're gonna bring in
those two should have survived. I would have preferred those two.
Yeah, you're gonna bring in a SWAT team.
Yeah, I mean, hey, but it's crazy, and I like some of the crazy areas it goes. Like I said, better people under the stairs and the people under the stairs. You've got a elevator shaft of fucking body parts at the ground. This thing's gonna stink to high fucking heaven, and no one seems to be going to the Dario Argento Hotel, the Argento Hotel, or Hotel Argento, and
We
noticing
prefer
any
if you call it the
stench.
Dario Argento Hotel.
Sir Dario Argento. No one's going there. It's ridiculous, but for whatever reason, I love the wacky way and route this took. I'm not saying I disagree with what you're saying, though. It's just this was more fun to watch, and I could see being something that I'd put on just for shits and giggles.
There's just too much walking around the second half. By the time they get to the hotel, it's just, I don't know. Arkin's with them. He's separated. Elena's escapes, and she's taken again, and they're just walking around. And finally they meet up, and they're like, Lucello, Elena.
Up and down a flight of stairs in the first one over and over again. You're up, you're
But
down.
the tension's there because they're playing cat and mouse because Arkin's trying to be undetected, and it's like,
Right, I agree.
you're kind of like on edge with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
That's what's
I'm not
lacking.
saying this one's not fun. It is a fun
No.
showcase of gore and kills, but I just don't have it on the level of the first.
Yeah.
I probably have it on the level of Ghost Ship, though. I don't hate Ghost Ship.
Yeah, I don't hate Ghost Ship. That's why I was so shocked when I found out this was a sequel, because I thought, like, yeah, Ghost Ship starts out, up here, and so I was like, all right, this is the movie that I'm watching. I'm like, oh, it's a sequel.
Man, I don't know.
I don't know if there's much more to add. Like, to be honest, like
No.
I feel like
I hear
I
you.
feel like they get enough right. And like I said, and it's fast paced, and my ratings was the exact same. I thought, wow, this is solid 2 films. I kind of wish they went on. I give it an 8 out of 10, and I wish that we got a third.
Maybe someday they'll get back to it.
I'd
All
rather
right.
have this than Lay to Rest 3. That I've heard was
You leave
possibly happening.
Chrome Skull alone.
At least Chrome Skull did. It explained my issues with part 1. That's what I love, when a sequel comes along and explains away the problems that I have with part 1. And that's what Chrome Skull did to me. If nothing else, that's what it did. It explained things to me. I was like,
Christian's doing the spin-off called Numbskull.
Nice.
Waka waka.
So what do you guys have for ratings? You're an 8? See, Holly?
I was supposed to let Holly go first. Sorry, Holly.
You jumped.
How dare
Jumped
you?
Yeah.
What the
guy.
fuck? I'm never coming back. Good.
Me
I
either.
don't blame you.
I'm going to give this one a 7. I just echo everything that you said. It's fun. I love watching it. I love the kills. Again, saw traps. I love it. But as far as story's concerned, definitely not on par with the first one. Not as much tension. But I do enjoy it. It's fun.
Right on. I echo everything you said right to the rating. It's 7 for me, too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit lower. I'm at 6.5. But
It's fucking gay.
sorry, my dad's at a 5.
Really?
Wow.
And my
Tell your
dad went
to
9
shut-
and 5.
Turn around and tell him 5. Really?
Holy shit.
He really
Wow.
disliked it.
Wow.
We did them back to back, and I mean the first one is just so much better.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen Lucello get how he got the dog body onto it. I would have liked to have seen the dog get decapitated, because he comes out with just the dog head, right when he has that
Oh,
showdown.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's safe for cats. They're not going to do that. They're not going to show that for a dog.
Of course not. Yeah, they gotta put wet cats.
I could have had I wish they had like a whole room of just half cats sleeping down the walls.
See, now exploding cats wouldn't bother me. I would find humor in it, like that dog exploded. I would find humor in an exploding cat. But a
The dog
cat
didn't explode. He had his head blown off after he was set on fire and put a bucket on his head. But
Poor
even in
German
the
Shepherd.
second one, when the collector opens fire, he lets the dog loose on the team, and then he opens fire. He's shooting his own dog.
I know.
Yeah.
Asshole.
There's way more dog violence in these films than cat. I could deal with half a cat.
exploding kittens. That's a new rating. Half a cat.
It's also a game.
Exploding kittens. Yeah, is that what it was? A game?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a game.
It's funny. Explosions. Exploding animals is kind of funny.
Explosions, they're hilarious.
Well, exploding animals.
Especially when animals are involved.
It's better than them being severed in half.
I love when I see a news story where a pet store blew up. I love it. It's so funny.
Especially if they had turtles.
Yeah, they show the news, just shells and half cats everywhere.
Bowser's one of them, the big turtle.
Yeah,
just Peach. Oh. What the hell are we talking about?
Look at. I don't know.
Did I freeze again?
Oh.
Ever so often.
You have frozen 6,000 times this show.
Yep.
You really have. Like we've done a good job of just pretending like we've heard what you said, but we honestly have heard almost nothing of what you said this whole show.
It's okay, because most of the listening, like the listenership, will once again side with me.
Right.
As usual.
That's what's great about listening back. Now I can listen back to the podcast next week or whenever, and that's what Christian said. Oh, it all comes to me. So it's like if I don't get it now,
it's all coming back to me.
Yeah, that's the intro for Cheers. Remember, that's the theme song.
No.
And against all odds, Phil Collins did not sing that.
That's why I said that, because you thought Against All Odds was the Golden Girls song. And I am going to do it. I'm going to do a Pink Floyd fucking Wizard of Oz style. I'm telling you, I'm going to put on the Golden Girls, lower the sound, and as soon as I see that plane going over the sun, I'm fucking starting that song. Doom, 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 doom. Fucking Phil Collins. How can you just let me... But I'm telling you, I think it might be funny. I'm going to do it. It's homework.
Do something with Bret Hart, too. Do something with Bret Hart. He thought Bret Hart was some sort of condition.
Condition. I am the Mountie.
I'm the Mountie. I went to the cardiologist. He said I had a Bret Hart.
I knew Bret Hart. I knew he was a wrestler, and that's it. I don't know anything else about him. I knew he was a wrestler. I'm like, what the fuck? I got to know everybody's fucking history now.
He's a Canadian.
Everybody that lived.
He's a Canadian.
After Wayne Gretzky, Bret Hart.
Fucking hero.
Wayne Gretzky, Bret Hart. Canadian heroes.
And Dave
Because he took fake punches to the face, he's a Canadian hero?
Oh, stop.
Jesus Christ.
Whatever. Anyway, we better get out of here. We gotta go. Enough's enough. It was a great time, though. Holly, thank you so much.
Do you want to plug anything, Holly, other than...
Other than the show that is now yours.
Ask Dave if he wants to plug anything.
Nothing.
Well, Beyond the Screams, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, maybe TikTok, but I feel like I'm too old and don't get it, so we'll see.
And you could be heard on the network and all those good things, right?
And Dark Discussions Network.
Apple. Perfect. And everything else.
Yep, all the streaming services. We're there.
What's planned? You got any plans going on or no?
Not right now. The next couple months we're going to be doing travel themes for June and July, like international travel. Then July is going to be like water horror. So we're going to be doing some summer stuff. But if anybody's in Chicago, Rocky Horror is going to be starting back up. Next month, we're going to be at the drive-in, and then starting in July, we get to be back in the theater. So come check it out.
Nice.
Very cool.
Are you going to call your summer thing the summer series?
No. Oh. No.
You want to be involved in the summer series?
I can't. I've got no.
Well, we are looking for some help. We need some adjudicators. So that's why I'm asking.
If I knew what an adjudicator was, maybe I'd be one.
I told you what it was. I gave you the whole fucking description.
Until then, I will refer to it as the Bummer series.
Oh, you should be an adjudicator. You can, okay, people are on the show.
Why did you
check it?
Why did you really say judicator? He's like, you should be an adjudicator. You really emphasized.
I don't know how to say that word. Anyway, adjudicator, whatever. Anyway, after the 3 movies pass for that year, 2016, let's say it's going to be this movie, and everybody votes on it. There's 5 hosts, right? Now, it gets sent over to the adjudicators. Now, that's you. You get to look at it and see that top 3. Now, you see we review 12 movies that year. If you see a movie that you feel belongs in the top 3, and it's not there, it's one of the other 9, then you can put that movie through and take a movie out. you have the power to fucking change
I'm
the
saying
thing.
no for Brandon.
No, I think Brandon would love it.
That actually
You
sounds
have
like
to watch-
fun because you don't even really
See?
have to do anything except just.
No. You have to watch the 12 movies, obviously, before you make a decision.
But I've probably seen all 12 already.
That's fine. That's why I thought you'd be perfect for it.
I mean, I watch 1,000 movies. I've already watched 100 2021s already.
That's what I'm saying. Be
I've
an
gotten
adjudicator.
like 5.
Honestly, only 5 were good, so you're not far off the way you should be.
Yeah, you get to decide because things come to a vote, and then you have like a serious vote that has to do with it. So it's kind of cool.
I'm
Well, I think-
intrigued. I'm
Good.
intrigued.
I hope you are. I'd love to get you involved in this. It's great. It's perfect for you. You love watching movies, and especially for a year. It's fucking so much fun.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. Hopefully you can do it. Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, that's that. 144. 145 is going to be one of those big shows. I think we decided what we were going to do. One of the movies from the Rams, or one of the trilogies that he picked. What the hell was it, Christian? Remember we talked about it? It was the three
Yep,
movies.
I
What were they?
cannot remember for the life of me now, but I think I took a screenshot of it, so
Was
I'll
it
get to
the
at some point. I can't-
Yeah, what the hell was it?
Chud and Chud 2.
Oh, was it the slasher thing? I Know What You Did Last Summer, Lost After Dark, Hellfest. Was that it?
I think that
may
was
have
it.
been. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
well, there
I've
you
taken
go.
a
I Know What You
lot of
Did Last.
pictures. Yeah.
That's it, people. Watch them. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Lost After Dark, and Hellfest. It's a little slasher special, episode 145.
I don't like that guy who wrote Lost After Dark.
Oh boy,
I'm
stop
just
it.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Bo is great. All right. Anyway, Holly, thank you again.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
been
thank
a
you.
Yes, thank
blast.
you.
Great talking with you
course.
guys.
Yeah.
We'll do it again
Yeah.
for certain. And everybody
sure.
else,
You're welcome
well,
back
just
more
as
than
much.
Brandon.
We'll see you next Women in Horror movement.
Yeah.
Awesome. Christian, you got to give the exit now. It's official.
Oh, okay. Ah!